Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
I'm Jenny, and this is my Sonobello story. I've always fought my problem areas where the stubborn fat and inches accumulate, but after the stress of being a nurse and working through COVID, my problem areas became a bigger problem. That's when I decided enough. I'd known about Sonobello, and as a nurse, I was fascinated by their micro laser fat removal, where in one visit, I could lose the extra fat and inches permanently. It was a great experience, and my problem areas aren't a problem anymore. I'd encourage anyone who struggles with stubborn fat and inches to go to Sonobello.
Being a nurse, Jenny did her research, and the more she read about Sonobello and their amazing micro-laser fat removal technology, the more she was impressed. How in one visit, she'd be free of the fat from her tummy, sides, back, and thighs, and it's not coming back. Live your best summer and experience micro-laser fat removal for yourself. And right now, you'll save $250. Schedule your visit at sonobello.com/save. That's sonobello.com/save.
Do you have questions about Medicare? For personalized guidance from a local Medicare expert counselor, call the SHIP hotline. SHIP is the state health insurance assistance program that provides unbiased help to beneficiaries, their families, and caregivers. Free. Call SHIP today at 1-800-792-8820, 800-792-8820, or visit aging.nj.gov. This ad made possible by the New Jersey Division of Aging Services with funds from the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
It's about that time. Time to fill the grill with all your ShopRite summer favorites, like hot dogs, hamburgers, and sausages, from asparagus to zucchini, and every kind of bun under the sun. So go ahead, fill the backyard barbecuers and the long weekend lovers. Fill the hamburger hoverers and the hot dog hotshots. Fill the grill with fabulous grillable foods that are priced just right. See all our summer deals at ShopRite.com.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to Gen Exhausted. I'm Chris.
I'm Rich.
I'm Jess.
Why can't the radio play the shit out of this one? Why do I gotta hear American Woman for the 100,000th time? This is a jam. Like, he had a rhythm section with him for a couple albums. Like, it was pretty badass. Like, the guy, I forget, I know it was the bass player quit in the middle of the tour for Are You Gonna Go My Way? And he was ahead of the curve with Kid Rock, with the black chick with the afro being the drummer. But for those two, for Are You Gonna Go My Way, and this is Mama Said, I think he had quite the stellar rhythm section with him. Now he does nothing. Now he evaporated. What happened to him?
I think he does what a lot of Hollywood people do. He's from Hollywood royalty. Mom was on the Jeffersons. Dad was a producer in Hollywood. So, I mean, like, he's been in movies and television shows. He plays himself, shockingly. And he plays that very well, apparently. So, yeah. I don't know, like, first two albums, okay. First album, there's some good stuff. Second album, the good stuff comes less and less. Are You Gonna Go My Way is just, we're gonna make love and rub a dub. Like, dude, just shut the fuck up.
We got Dance and Be in Love.
Just stop. It's like when Van Hagar was like, only time will tell if we pass the test of time. Dude, stop. Okay, Sammy, we get it. You can sing, but sing about like motor scooters or whatnot. Like, stop trying to be fucking deep. You're Sammy Hagar. Sell tequila, fuck strippers, and shut the fuck up with it. Like, you don't get deeper than a piss puddle, dude. You're out of your depth if you do. So, yeah, it's kind of how I feel about fucking Lenny Kravitz's lyrics. I mean, like, what the first album, Mr. Cab Driver, was his attempt at like tell a story, and I'm like, bro, first of all, you're from L.A.
Yeah,
What cab were you? And you're rich,
right?
Like, yeah. You were born rich. What cab were you taking?
It's about he went to New York that one time. He wrote a song about taking the cab,
and the cab wouldn't stop to get him because he's black. Yep. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. That doesn't sound contrived at all. Sure, kind of like Anthony Kiedis and So over there, under that bridge, okay, whatever, dude. Whatever you need to sell the fucking song. Just be glad that John Frusciante wrote music that people actually want to listen to. Because that fucking second grade poetry that you fucking ejaculate over top of most shit that these fucking musicians come up with, it wouldn't be, dude. You're not Morrison. You're not selling your shit to anybody.
Oh, like even their new song, like I like the music, but the lyrics, I'm like.
Just say California over and over and over in different fucking inflections, and we get it. Okay, thank you, Anthony Kiedis.
Like there's a couple times with especially some of their new songs, I'm like, aren't you in like your mid-50s?
I don't know, but I can't do another fucking 20 minutes on the Chili Peppers to begin the show. What the fuck did you guys want to talk about to start off?
We have Gen Z is protesting Amazon. That's our kickoff point.
It was Gen Z influencers on TikTok.
Which the irony there is pretty stellar.
Yeah, TikTok owned by a Chinese company. But let's get into why Gen Z's mad. Just how Amazon treats their worker. First of all, the wage they want. I don't remember the exact wage, but I remember it comes out to $73,000 a year. Is what they want for the starting wage. Good luck. I'm still trying to get that, so have fun.
People at Amazon already start off making something like $18 an hour, don't they?
That's what I've heard. I mean, I knew someone who worked part-time for Amazon, and they were making $18 an hour, and that was part-time.
Yeah, they were asking for a $30 an hour minimum wage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, still, that's $60,000 a year to start.
That's ridiculous. What is it that nurses make?
Not that.
Isn't it like an average of $22 an hour, right? Let's see.
Nurses barely make middle-class money.
Yeah, okay, anywhere between $22 and $37 an hour.
Yeah, this is a campaign called People Over Prime, coordinated by an advocacy group, Gen Z for Change. It's 70 creators who have a collective following of 51 million users. They are calling on Amazon to listen to their workers and make tangible changes to their workplace environment. $30 an hour minimum wage, better medical leave, additional paid time off, an hour-long paid lunch break. Good luck.
Yeah.
And ditching productivity rates that require workers to pick a certain number of items an hour.
So they want them to make $30 an hour, have all the bells and whistles, but just to do whatever they feel like doing?
And do less work.
Okay, cool. Sounds like Amazon's probably going to go for this. I mean, who the fuck wouldn't, right?
I don't know. To me, this is another group of people that act like your job is a birthright. Like, if you don't like where you work, you can quit. Especially now. Once again, just read the preliminary August jobs report. There's like 2 jobs for every job seeker out right now. Sent you guys an article about how during the last 2 years, companies that make robots, business is booming. They're about to make artificial workers to fill job positions.
They won't have to pay them $30 an hour.
Well, that's the rub, isn't it?
Yeah,
they hope that it's going to save them money. They don't know.
Oh, well, because robots don't call off. Mm-hmm. Robots don't miss work.
When they break down, they require, and those motherfuckers who can fix them are going to hold those companies' feet to the fire and charge them through the fucking nose, because it's going to be like, you have no place else to go. Who's going to fix your shit?
Yeah, but guess what? Another thing robots can do: work 24 hours a day. The factory will never have to stop.
Okay.
What? No, go ahead.
My point was, if it is more economical than paying them $30 an hour, it will happen. If it's not, it won't. That's it. That's all I'm getting at.
You're correct.
So the fact that they still need humans means it ain't as fucking around the corner as they want everybody to fucking believe it is. Because believe me, if it was, I think Amazon would have fucking implemented it by now. It's Amazon.
How do you know they haven't started?
How do you know they have? I mean, I'm talking, is there a fully automated Amazon fucking warehouse somewhere? Oh, I'm sure it would be in that article. I'm sure they would have mentioned it. I'm sure they would threaten their workers with it. Like, hey, we have a model for this. It's working. We can do this on a bigger scale. The only concern Amazon's
they started this year.
The only concern Amazon's going to have is a PR concern. Once it's cheaper for them to automate, and by the way, this is coming anyways. It doesn't matter if they work for, unless you're going to pay Amazon to work for them in 100 years, they're not going to hire you anyways. They don't give a fuck. Everything's going to be automated for them for this type of shit. So we're clutching pearls over fucking inevitabilities here, but whatever. It's our bread and butter. We're on brand. But once it becomes across the board, like what all Amazon has to do is just keep their customers' opinion about them as a company in the fucking positive, like at 51% positive, because that's how corporations think. That's all they care about. And that will be the new fucking corporate strategy, the winning of hearts and minds to go, yes, we know we used to, employ your family and give them, an ability to make a living. And now we have robots doing it, but we still care about you. We care about your feelings. They know the fuck you don't. No, you don't. But that's the game they'll play. And that's where the game is.
Here's the thing. They won't have to play the game because as long as you can
keep their customers, they will.
You know how they'll keep their customers? I can order something and it can be here by 7 a.m. That's how they'll keep their customers.
That was the other part. If they can keep delivering the shit like they do to where it is absolutely positively ridiculous to where you can order almost anything and have it there the next fucking day in 15 different boxes, and you probably just fucking killed a whole family in Ghana somewhere because of your fucking carbon footprint.
And my argument
for
how we care about convenience more than we give a fuck about how people treat workers, this right here, my friend, the iPhone.
Absolutely.
Dude, so many people who are on the far radical left who are screaming about human rights and this and that and this and that are doing it on a fucking iPhone. And we said one of the first shows we talked about, I think you or Aaron, somebody didn't believe that they had fucking suicide nets at factories in China where they make these things.
No, that was me because I was like, that sounds like an internet 4chan thing.
So that's what's like, as long as you can hit a button on your Amazon app and something shows up at 7 a.m., I think people won't give a shit how they treat it. They don't do it now.
That's when I was just like, there you go, folks. There you go. Unchecked anything. Run amok. Turns into that. Turns into, we want to control you so much, you can't even kill yourself till we say you can. That is always the end result of this shit going unchecked. But yeah, that was a terrifying realization. Thank you for making me relive that trauma. I appreciate that. I hope you get syphilis and your nose rots off before you die, you fuck. So yeah, anyways, all right.
And that was fucking 7 years ago.
No, seriously, I'm dead serious. Like, that did terrify me. Like, that is, to be trapped in this life, I agree with Hunter S. Thompson on this. I would be what was the word he used? Inconsolable or something. You know how he does with words. But if he's like, if I knew I was trapped in this life, if suicide was not an option, if I could not just go, I'm done, I'm going out on my terms. And considering how he went out, I think he meant it. I don't think he was just trying to sell a few books.
It's true.
Okay. So, what I'm saying? Like, the fact that you can't even, the one thing that you truly own in this planet, when you come into this world, is you, your essence, whatever makes you, you. And if you can't even decide when to end that, you have no autonomy whatsoever. You are a fucking cog in a machine. You are nothing at that point. That is terrifying to me because so many people want that. They fucking get hard and wet for it, and I don't understand that. I don't, but anyways. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, Amazon. Right? Okay, well, another question I have is, what the fuck happened to where we could do this with the auto industry, which wasn't making profit like Amazon, but now we can't do this with Amazon, who's making profit like the auto industry wasn't back in the day, even if you adjust it for inflation and all that shit. So what the fuck is different? How come companies can't fucking offer like $30 an hour plus a benefits package to their employees?
Well, they do, just not to the entry-level fucking line people.
Okay, what point are you working on the line where you qualify to get that job or get that fucking pay in that package? That's my question. If there's room to move up, their argument becomes less and less fucking of an argument, becomes more and more of a, we just want shit for free, and I start to agree with you. But if there's no fucking upward mobility and everything's a lateral movement from one fucking bullshit position to another, and there's no pay and there's no benefit increase, they have a legitimate beef.
Well, based on my experiences and also things I've been reading, a generation or two below us, hang around for longer than 6 months, you might get a raise. You might be offered another position.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with any of this, man.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm really answering more like the the esoteric questions, the greater questions. Like, it's, you want $30 an hour? You got to work there for more than 90 fucking. Well, you know, after 90 days, when you're just getting hired in and getting offered your shit, don't be walking around going like, why ain't I got a promotion yet?
Well, I mean, like, look, there's certain industries that are going to be more likely to do shit like you have to pay your dues. You have to come in and blah, 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 blah. You're low man in the totem pole, and we're going to fucking make you, we're going to remind you of it constantly. And it's like, whatever, okay. But there's an acceptable amount when I start a new job of bullshit that I'll take. But if I'm walking in at 45 years old with 10 plus years experience in the fucking field that I'm about to start to work in, and I got some fucking 17-year-old with 3 months of work experience in his life trying to tell me how to do shit, there's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck about your corporate policy at that point. Don't come at me like I don't know what I'm talking about, boy. You're a fucking child. And I will take you outside and put you over my knee and show you if you need that. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is just a different way of fucking dealing with shit. But Amazon, here's the thing. I've never heard of people getting promoted from the line at Amazon. In fact, the turnover rate, it's almost like a fucking sausage maker, man. Like, the turnover rate is ridiculously high, which has to mean the working conditions I've witnessed. I'm like, I wouldn't be talked to like that for $18 an hour, but I don't have a wife and kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can afford to be like, I'll skip a meal to not make that much and take that shit. But I see people there and it's like, okay, yeah. You're a single mom and you're 40. I can understand why you're here. So I don't know, man. Like, is there any, I mean, I get it, dude. You're going to side with management most of the time. Is there any fucking case where the workers have a legitimate beef in your mind?
Well, if you're clearly violating labor laws, yeah.
And that's it. So like it's only the law. It's like there's no ethics. Ethics have basically,
because staying
businesses can be amoral.
Staying there is a choice. It's just like staying in a bad relationship. If you're in a bad relationship and you're staying there, you are staying in it.
Okay.
Trust me. A place I worked for 15 years. Shit started going south. I started looking for another job. It's like the guy working for was fucking doing crazy shit. I was like, I'm not fucking taking this shit.
There's a difference between working for a company and someone in a management pool gets replaced, and it just so happens that they want to bring in all their own people. For the sports analogy, it's the new general manager. He doesn't want to be saddled with the head coach and fucking decisions of the previous general manager. He wants to come in and fucking clean house. That's a different story than like sabotaging employees, putting them in no-win situations, using like just fear tactics, threatening them constantly.
Well, I guess the other thing too,
I mean, you can say, well, you don't have to stay, and it's like, okay, so there's no ethical, moral concern about like treating an employee well. It's only if the law says so. So what does the law say? Does the law say they have to? I mean, here's the thing. How much of a fucking stickler for the rules do you want to be? Because I know we all hate the asshole who walks up and goes, actually, right here, and bye. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh, God, this cocksucker again? Really? Dude, can we just take our 15-minute break? Well, actually, it's supposed to be 16 minutes because we got...
Well, you know, I'm glad you... Because the other part of this conversation... Me and you had this conversation in the hallway. Like, we do, like, mini hallway podcasts all the time. But when we have this conversation, and it's my fault, I never ever bring this other part up. I always just come out on the side of, you know, like I said, side of management. The other side... You have to have an environment that people want to be in. Like, that's the other... Like, if you have an environment where, you know, we were talking about pizza places we've worked at, and we've talked about places where we've walked in, like everyone's got their head down, nobody talks to anybody, the music's not on, and you're just like, oh, must be great working here, you know, versus other places we've worked at where everybody's laughing and joking around, you got the music on, it seems like everybody's like, at least, you know, you're not all like, hey, we love being here, but you're all making the most of your time and enjoying it, and, you know, even though it's a job, like, you have to create an environment people want to be at. Like, I've always said to people when they talk about, you know, I used to be a business consultant, you know, and yes, part of the restaurant industry is high turnover, but if they just had crazy high turnover, you know, it started to be like, hey, does your mirror only go one way? Like Jameer only, like it's
In a lot of cases, yeah.
you have to start asking yourself, why am I constantly cycling? Why does nobody stay here past 6 weeks? You know, because there's other people. My whole staff's been here. The new guy's been here 5 years. You know,
I've been in a few jobs where I was in a position where I was able to pick who I could work with. Wasn't very often, and it was real simple. I was like, I want them to pick me, and that like, we don't understand what you mean. I don't want to work with people that don't want to work with me, and believe me, if I don't want to work with someone, and I'm in supervisor position, every other supervisor and my boss is going to know that already. I don't want to work with that person, so they already knew. Like, Rich isn't working with certain people. You know what I'm saying? So that was taken care of, and it was because my attitude is this: everybody here, we all don't want to be here. We all have someplace else we want to be, but we have to be here. So let's have as much fun as possible while doing the job,
and do it well,
and get these motherfuckers out of here happy floating on air. Because a happy customer and a customer who walks in and goes, "Oh my God, my food's ready," and I can, thank you. That was so. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
They'll never teach it this way, but a happy customer is not a pain in the ass.
Exactly. Exactly. And on top of that, I'm not the boss that's going to micromanage you. You know your fucking job. If you don't do your fucking job, I'm going to let you know, hey, you fucked up. If you go, got it. Cool. If I got to ride you to course correct, you're in the danger zone with me.
You know what micromanaging's for? Training. After that, you're an adult. Put on your big girl or big boy or big they panties or lower undergarments, whatever the fuck you got to call them now.
They garments.
Yeah.
Manties. I don't know.
Right.
But no, I don't know if this is because I have so many people in the military in my family or whatnot, but it's just like, look, I want to trust the person in the foxhole next to me to do their job, and I want them to trust me to do my job. And that's the type of work environment I want to foster, that type of environment. I've had bosses who are like, you have to make them fear you. They can't respect you. And I'm like, okay, that's what you have to do.
That's called a bad manager.
That's what you have to do because you're such an unlikable cocksucker. And I can actually be likable even though I am a cocksucker. So just not literally.
Those days are over. Dude, trust me, when I first started, you could be a little more of a taskmaster. Now you can't. You just can't.
I gotta say, I don't know what the fuck goes on at some of these restaurants, but I'm just like, yo, the shit I see, I'm like, how do you people still have a job? Like, seriously, like 4 motherfuckers standing at a register, 3 people walk in, they do the stop back far enough and look at the menu, like let the people behind the counter figure out who's going to take the order. You know, it's like they're being polite customers. They're not being assholes. They're not being dicks about it. And there's 4 of these motherfuckers. Now I'm standing there waiting for a fucking delivery. So I'm just like, a fly on the wall. And these 3 people are sitting there, and for like 3 minutes, these 4 motherfuckers are sitting there, and they are looking like these people dead in their fucking eyes and talking to each other and just not even acknowledging that they're like sitting there. So they step up to the counter. They are like almost like touching the counter with their body. Like, we're ready to order, please. And these fuckers are still just like talking. Like, they're not even standing. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I'd burn my fucking restaurant down, collect the insurance money.
It's a new world, man.
I'd just find some. I'd be like, you know what? I had a good run.
That story I
don't need serve food anymore.
That story I sent you about the robots. A lot of them are going to restaurants.
Oh, you go to McDonald's. The McDonald's right down the road here is like 80% of the time is the automated kiosk. You got to order.
Oh, my new favorite thing now, going in because I'm eating a lot of fast food for lunch the last few months. My new favorite. I don't have to deal with the cashier and anything now. Bloop bloop bloop.
Oh yeah, if you got an app, yeah.
No, don't even need an app. It's McDonald's. Just here you go.
Okay,
Apple Pay.
So this goes back to what we were talking about with Amazon. The inevitability of we will all be replaced when with these jobs with some form of automation. Yes, there will always have to be a human element probably on at least call, not that far away.
Telling me we got to find Larry Fishburne and make a spaceship.
I'm just asking, what the fuck are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because people ain't going to stop fucking. That ain't gonna happen.
There's going to be something else that requires jobs, and we'll move on to that. Dude, we've done it in the last 30 years of manufacturing. All the manufacturing's gone away.
You gotta understand.
People still have jobs.
All right, cool. All
No,
right.
I'm just.
Dude. Hey, I'm glad you have faith. I'm glad you have faith, Pope. I don't. Sorry. I want to stick my finger in the side of Jesus. Call me Thomas because I'm doubting this shit. I'm sorry. We're in an unprecedented fucking period of growth and change in the very core industry that the world has been fucking using to drive it for a couple hundred years. And we're changing at the speed of light compared to how shit changed before. And we thought shit changed with the invention of the assembly line and shit like that. We thought shit was changing too fast then. Fuck, they couldn't even comprehend how quick
Think about
shit
that.
changes.
That was like the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, right? Now we're in like the technical revolution. Like,
But it's
think
almost
about it. They all
200
shifted
years
into
ago.
tech.
No, I got what you're saying, but dude, everybody ain't cut for tech. Almost anybody can do this for 8 hours. Can take a part and move it from one spot to another and make sure it fits properly. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone's cut out for tech. What the fuck are we going to do with a bunch of people?
You met a coder, they ain't exactly all geniuses. They're just taught fucking codes. Like, it's...
Right, but that'll also eventually be taken
And two,
over.
they're also, it's part of school now. Like, my fucking nephews have been learning it since like fucking 3rd and 4th grade. And they go to public school, or, they've done half and half. But still, it's been in both schools.
They get around the world in the back.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a Catholic school, maybe they do.
But that's what like, dude, they're hitting kids with school in this. They're you know, like they're cultivating it.
Well, I mean, look, man, I don't know. To me, I just keep coming back to, there's a whole lot of people talking tough about these jobs aren't fucking supposed to be careers and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, motherfucker, these jobs ain't going to be, these jobs won't exist in 20 years. What the fuck are we going to do? And it's like, we'll find something. It doesn't really work out very often, in my experience, well for the people that are usually needed to work out the most for themselves.
And
That's what I'm saying.
That article did say your point the whole time, too. It did say this was going to happen anyways, but the pandemic hurried a lot of it up.
See, what I'm not hearing and what I want to hear is thought. Critical thought. I want to hear ideas. Like, maybe we need to change our education system. So instead of preparing people for a factory existence with ringing bells every 45 or 48 minutes, whatever the fuck it is, how about we, like you said, half the fucking day is more traditional, what we think of as traditional education. Other half is a more tech, sided education. And that becomes the benchmark, the fucking standard. Not, oh, well, if we get a better fucking tax base, of course we can do that. No. That becomes the standard.
Well, you know where that starts?
Yeah, that starts in fucking...
Oh, it starts with the teachers union.
No, it starts with, how the fuck
You
are we
want
going to we have to retrain...
Yeah, you want curriculums to change?
You
You got to
can't-
start, because that's the lobby in D.C. that's going to affect education.
I don't know that do the teachers union have a huge sway over the curriculum?
Over
It's
what's
not-
taught in schools?
It's not curriculum.
No.
It's not curriculum that's going to be the problem. It's going to be teaching teachers before they're teachers how to think to teach in a completely different way than everything they've ever experienced. That's where I think the bigger problem is you're going to run into. Okay, you're worried about a teachers union. What the fuck good is a bunch of teachers who can't teach the kids what they need to know because they're still stuck in an outdated model of teaching that
No, because
it obviously isn't working. We have 3 generations of people going, I don't know how to do shit. What did I learn in school that helped?
Well, because they've changed schools since we've been in it. That's the fucking problem. Have you seen Common Core math? Have you?
No. Yeah.
My ex-wife showed it to me. She's like, "This is what I have to teach." I'm like, "What the fuck is this? What?"
That's just extra. It's like
That's like they're doing like you're taking like.
It's like the first time I heard pansexual. That's just extra steps to sucking a dick. Just
yeah,
suck a
right?
dick.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta fucking have an excuse to do all that. Motherfucker, 2 + 2 does not take 20 steps.
Because I guess what I'm getting at is like how a child learns, how an adult learns, does not change. How information is imprinted, it's what they're imprinting on us is what has to change.
I get what you're saying. The problem that I'm talking about is we have teachers coming out of school who are more concerned with teaching the fucking kindergartners and first graders pronouns
Rich,
than they are in setting a good foundation.
We're doing what me and Earl do.
Or I know, but
We agree.
No, but
We're saying it two different ways.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you do that, but I mean, you have to start there because we can't keep throwing. It's like throwing Marines trained to fight in World War I in modern warfare. That's going to be a bloodbath. I don't care how tough those Marines are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It does not matter.
Hey, that cute little knife you have on your rifle's cool. I'm going to kill you with a fucking helicopter.
Did this motherfucker just attach a bayonet?
Yeah.
Are you Hold on a second.
Yeah. I'm half a mile away with a drone.
Yeah, exactly. I have an Xbox controller. Yeah. I just fucking bombed you, dude. I just got an achievement. Thank you. I'm going to post on my social media.
But you've got a pot on your head and a knife on your rifle. That's cute.
No, so to me, that's just like that type of stuff is the type of stuff that like people that go, what can I do? You know what you do? If you think that fucking voting, if you think getting involved in politics is going to help you, why don't you try it at the local level? And you, by the way, you don't have to be a parent to get involved in the local school system. I mean, you don't even have to go in there and start fucking pulling some fucking, I want conservative values or liberal values or whatever. You can just go and be like, what the fuck are you teaching the kids? Because this shit ain't working. So let's start at the source of the problem. The fuck are you teaching the teachers to teach these kids? Why the fuck are teachers coming out of fucking college after 4 years talking about their pronouns to 5-year-olds and trying to explain what anal sex is to 5-year-olds? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's start there. You know, let's get that. You want to teach kids about anal sex? Become a sex ed or a health teacher and wait till they're in 6th, 7th grade like we do for every fucking thing else. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, I just remember being and this is like 30 years ago, just being in middle school, talking to the little kids that lived next door. That motherfucker couldn't read till he was in 2nd grade. Like, I remember asking him in kindergarten if he's reading yet. No. 1st grade? No. By 2nd grade? Yeah. Like, what? Like, they at least in the public education system where I was, they didn't have those kids fully reading until the 2nd grade.
That's, yeah. I can't comprehend that. But, I mean, whatever. I get... If you don't have parents that are fucking sitting down reading to you, if you don't have books in your house, I mean, something. Jesus Christ, who the fuck? This isn't the 70s anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to rely on your kid finding a comic book to read shit. There's fucking screens with the library of the world essentially at their fingertips.
Both of my nephews could type words before they could write them.
Yep, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's that Brave New World shit. That's that. Let's forget everything about the old world, but then you can erase everything about the old world because the whole new world is always just what's the latest copy of it? What's that say?
Yeah.
Well, delete those old ones. We don't like that. I mean, isn't that kind of what happened with like the Catholic Church and the Bible? Like that book of the Bible? No. Don't worry about that little book of the Bible. We'll just put that over there.
Oh, now they just got two, the Old and the New Testament.
No, I'm talking about like in the New Testament, like they were like, you know, different books that were omitted and like over the years taken out and edited and merged and shit.
Well, that and the big thing with the New Testament is there is a large swath of Jesus. Jesus is 12, and then you catch up with him at 33.
Well, 30, but yeah.
Yeah, you're missing a good 18 years. Like,
Jesus was doing some wild shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Jesus was a wild
Jesus
boy.
was wilding out. I mean,
he was a freaknik.
Mary Magdalene was a whore.
Man, he hung out with, dude, what construction workers / sailors / fishermen do you know that are like, oh, I just want to go home and pray to Jesus every night? No.
Or just how about this? How about just 12 dudes who got nothing to do all day but follow this other dude around?
Where's some 12 fucking losers who won't get a job?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a Sam Kinison bit. That's how you knew that Jesus wasn't married. No wife buys the resurrection. He leaves on Friday morning with 12 other guys. Doesn't show up till Monday night looking like he hasn't slept. Like he'd have come home and have been like, his cross and his Bible have been on the porch. Like, stay here, guys. She's probably on her period.
And you just jog some memories. And these motherfuckers all quit their jobs because he told them to. He was like, hey, come follow me. Like, all right, I'm not a fisherman anymore.
Wait a minute.
Like, Jesus was like the dead prototype.
I was about to say,
quit your job and follow me around, and we're going to preach good vibes. Hey, man, everybody be cool.
I know that that's a popular way to present Jesus, but Jesus was not a fucking hippie, like in the sense that we think of hippies.
No, you're correct. To steal the phrase from Dennis Leary, he did not look like Greg Allman.
No, he did not look like Eric Clapton circa 1971 for the concert for Bangladesh. No, he did not look like that.
Jesus looked more like Jason Momoa.
But so, well, first of all, $30 an hour Amazon, that ain't happening. Can we just get that over with? I get that you got to ask for more than you always expect to, but I mean, is it just a matter of?
Well, let me figure that out. I want to make sure.
Because what was it? Jess, you probably didn't hear this growing up. We heard it constantly because we grew up in the shadow.
$62,000 a year.
We grew up in the shadow of the auto industry here in Detroit. So, and it cast a big fucking shadow when we were growing up. And I mean, it's still a healthy presence here in the area.
It fed me and clothed me.
It's still a very healthy presence. Like half the roads are named after something around the auto industry.
I mean, GM still headquartered here. Chrysler still headquartered here. Ford still. I mean, they're here. They even like two of them went to New York and came back.
But my point is, when they were having record profits, that's when they were paying. And that's when they were paying like the non-tiered wages. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd come in and then after X amount of time, you're bumped to this and then bumped to this. It wasn't like, okay, you have to be this position, this long, blah, 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 or however the fuck it's run. I don't know the particulars. I'm not even going to fucking front. I just know what I hear my friends who work in these factories bitch about. But, like the infamous line they'd say is like, Detroit auto workers make like $150 an hour. And it's like, no, the fuck they don't. Now, if you add up all the intangibles, yeah, maybe. But we're also talking about like insurance that most of these guys won't use most of the time they have it. Especially back in the day when you could walk in out of high school and get a job on the fucking line at one of the big three. What the fuck? How often were you fucking using any insurance you had in your 20s?
Rarely.
Exactly.
I rarely used it in my 30s.
And if it happened on the job's paying for it anyways, and that's probably the highest. I mean, if you back in the day for auto manufacturing. So I mean, like if it's like I don't know if it was 150. I know it was a 3-digit number, and they were saying like this number would be ridiculous in today's current money value.
Back when you used to get a retirement that you didn't have to pay for.
So when the auto industry started taking the hits, when Japan started really coming in, and then with BMW and especially the luxury market, basically foreign cars took over it. That's when in the 80s they had to restructure the auto industry. That's when they cut down a lot of that stuff. It made sense. They had to survive. Like, hey, this sucks. We understand. But when times were good, we were paying you like times were good. Times ain't good now. Everybody's got to tighten their belt. Times are booming in Amazon. Why the fuck is that not fucking trickling down? That's another question. And I don't see, I have no problem saying, I don't think it's greedy at all for the fucking workers to be like, yo, you're fucking posting record profits. You're paying no fucking taxes and you're talking all this shit and doing all this virtue signaling via your fucking streaming services and your stances on all this fucking bullshit, all these fucking social issues and nonsense. And meanwhile, why don't you kick in some fucking money if you're so fucking worried about that? If you're so down for the common man, why don't you pay the common man? And all you get is to see a dumbfounded faces staring back at you in the boardroom.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
I never ever thought I would open a business for myself, and then I had a baby.
Meet Patrice Mousseau,
founder of Satya Organics, a skincare company created for people with skin issues, powered by Shopify.
When Esme was about 8 months old, she developed eczema. The doctor's only option to me was steroid creams. I just started experimenting in my kitchen crock pot. I actually found something that cleared her eczema up in 2 days. After about a year or so of just selling it out of my kitchen window, I decided to make a business out of it. Shopify templates are fantastic, and their customer service is absolutely stellar. You can buy Satya online, you can buy it in stores, you can buy it in our social channels, and that's all made possible by Shopify.
When you're ready to share your business with the world, grow it on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform trusted by millions of businesses like Satya. Get a free 14-day trial at shopify.com/free22 and start selling wherever your customers are with easy-to-use tools and friendly 24/7 support. Go to shopify.com/free22. Shopify.com/free22.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
There was a some sort of, like, it was an opinion piece, or some people called it like an expose into working at an Amazon factory that happened at the beginning of the pandemic. And I think it was the Washington Times, I don't know, New York Times, someone. It was. I'll dig it up and send it to you guys, and y'all can see it. But what they found out whenever they were there is that, you know, whenever you work on the line, if you don't have any drive to move up in the company, if that's not what you want to do, you just want to be a line worker, then what they end up having is a bunch of people who are getting, you know, just their standard raises, but there's no increase in productivity because they already have, like, the maximum amount of, you know, work picks that they have to do, a maximum amount of things they have to get and package up, or however they do it. So the pay would go up, but no productivity would go up. So Amazon was in this practice of getting rid of people because they had so many people that were applying that they would just take the people who had gotten a couple raises and they would, you know, let them go, lay them off, and then hire in new people at starting wage. So they kind of are doing the opposite of what you're talking about they should be doing.
Well, I mean, isn't that how it works? I mean, when the company does well, this is Reaganomics 101. When the people at the top do well, this is this is their theory, not mine. Take it up with them. You got a problem with it. People at the top do well, it trickles down to people at the bottom, right? Why are the workers not? Why are they not making? Why is there this, like, glass ceiling that line workers are bumping their heads on and stuff? And I mean, I get it. And listen, not every line worker is going to be motivated to want to sit in a fucking corner office on the fucking top floor one day. But not every line worker wants to do the bare minimum and just get by either. There's a lot of motherfuckers who want to do a decent job because they feel some sense of accomplishment outside of a fucking paycheck when they do a good job at something. It's part of our human fucking nature. It's built into us. It's a part of our DNA. You don't like it? Take it up with the fucking creator. I didn't fucking make us. I'm just dealing with it.
Well, it does sound like Amazon rewards those people with what she just said. She's saying to people who've decided, like, I don't want to be anything but this, they get a couple raises, and then Amazon goes, they replace them with somebody who wants to move up.
No. Just someone they can pay starting wages. It has nothing to do with the desire to move up.
Oh.
It's just so that they can pay people
Must
less.
have misunderstood you.
Yes. That's
because I worked for a company where for a while the culture was, if you can't promote this person one day, they shouldn't work for you.
Well, I mean, look, there are plenty of companies who have succeeded who've had some fucked up, like, ethos behind them, and just, you know, I don't know, core tenet that runs through it. I mean, who knows if that works for that company? And by the way, certain businesses, you can do that. Certain businesses having a cutthroat attitude is actually going to do you a favor. It's not going to do you a disservice. It's like we've talked about. There are places in society for sociopaths. I want a fucking surgeon who doesn't fucking get freaked out at the sight of blood cutting me open and working on me. I want him to, like Turk says in Scrubs, look at me like a fucking car. Fix what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't want someone that's like, okay, I'm cutting them up. Oh, God. Oh, that's a lot of blood. Like, dude, no, you're in the wrong fucking business,
I think
bro.
by the time you got into the operating room, you wouldn't, I don't think you'd get that far. I think maybe
hey, man, you never fucking know these days.
The second week of med school.
You never know these days.
You'd probably figure out, blood not for me, probably not going to be a surgeon.
Hey, man, diversity, inclusion, and equity. Die, baby. Die, baby, die. All day. But, I mean, and on top of it, military. Look, there's a lot of fucked up people in this world. And we want more fucked up people on our side to protect us from those fucked up people. Because trust me, most of us ain't going to do it. You know what I'm saying? We don't want that job. We don't want to see the shit that goes on behind the fucking curtain as far as like the day-to-day fucking shit of like murder, child molestation,
dude,
shit
that's why
like that.
The fucked, even the fucked up shit that we hear about cops in the military, I got respect for those because that job ain't for me. I ain't doing it. Like I said, and those guys run towards shit that we run away from.
Yeah.
That takes a certain type of personality that I don't have. I know this mic is on. I know everyone can hear me, and I'm admitting it. I'm puss for stuff like that. Absolutely.
Hey, man, I rather see. Here's the thing. I always thought it was a stupid mindset to have when someone would admit to something like you just did. To be like, you're a fucking half a bundle of sticks, pussy, sissy. Yeah, your mama make your titty back and all that shit. Because here's the deal: I don't want you next to me in a fucking foxhole, bro. Yeah. No offense.
You want me in there? Yeah.
You don't pack the gear to be in that fucking situation.
Exactly.
I don't want you there. And here's the deal: you don't want to be there. I don't want you there.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I try to force you there?
Exactly.
How is that going to be good for anybody? The best case scenario, you're just competent enough to keep yourself alive and not get anyone else killed through your incompetence. Yeah. That's it.
My skill sets would better serve us elsewhere. Put me on the radio.
I mean, dude,
like not like the radio, like the actual communication.
No. Good Morning Vietnam. No, that's what that movie's about.
No, it's like I'd be Radar O'Reilly all fucking day.
That's what that Good Morning Vietnam. He went over to Vietnam and he's like, I'm a DJ. They drafted me. They're like, now you DJ for the United States Air Force.
I'll say I'd be the radio operator or something, like giving people their coordinates or some shit.
Yeah, but that requires you to be in the foxhole. You don't want to be taking incoming, dude. Bro, you're a little bit more high strung than I ever fucking realized, bro. Listen, incoming fire coming around you might got like I would just be like
I've seen many movies
with a weed IV.
There is some dude sitting somewhere with a headset on telling people something.
Oh, you want to be like a fucking...
That's what I would be.
I got you. Okay. I got you. You want to
relay
the shit. You don't want to be in the field. You don't want to be an RTO in the field. I got you. Okay. Anyways. All right, yeah, I forgot where we're going with that.
I could get through basic training. It'd be like a mental challenge.
Well, fucker, no one on this podcast is getting through basic training.
Not now.
Yeah, dude, come on now.
not now.
Like, dude, we are old. We have... No, you have to remember, dude, I do have friends who are dumb enough to be in their 40s talking about, I could beat the shit out of Joey Harrington. I'm like, no, you can't.
Maybe not. No, not even now.
Not even now. He is a
better
professional athlete who's worked out every day of his life since he's like 10.
Yeah.
And 12-ounce curls ain't working out for you, bro. You know, that's not how that works.
I knew a motherfucker one time, he's like, I could kill a lion. Like, you put me in a room with a lion. It's like, no, you could not.
Oh, my God. I don't want to watch a human being get ripped apart.
That's what I said.
Lion, but I almost want to see that asshole die.
I was told him, that would be the quickest death ever. That lion would lunge at you, and it would be, no, man, just got to, get him by the jaw. Like, dude, it's like, I asked him, have you ever seen a lion? He was talking about, being in, an 8.5 by 11 bedroom with a lion. He could take down, the lion would take up half the room for starters. If it was a full-grown lion. And again, you immediately dead.
Jess, do you remember when Michael Jackson had a monkey that he carried around?
No.
Okay. So 84. 84 is even too early.
Well, no, yeah.
So we have a mystery with Jess that we're trying to figure out. This the delineation line, because Mikhail Gorbachev died. And Jess said, who? And, she's like the millennial we keep in a cage and we marvel at her every week. But we've also figured out she's not that much younger than us.
Wait, hold on. Did you just accuse me of being born in 84?
No, we're trying to, like how we were talking about the line of demarcation.
Yes.
So Michael Jackson rolling around with Bubbles was in like 1984, and you don't remember that. Because that's like when he went to the Grammys with Brooke Shields and shit.
Yeah, but that was like late 80s and shit. But still, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I think he got rid of Bubbles before Dangerous come out. So that's why I'm
for
like,
sure.
Yeah. And here's
Bubbles
the reason why. He got rid of Bubbles during the Bad tour because I remember the reason. Listen, all this is okay. You going? Oh, I think. Oh, no. I can tell you exactly why the fuck I brought it up in the first place. He had to get rid of that goddamn monkey because monkeys fight their fucking owners when they reach a certain age.
Awesome.
And they will literally grab your fucking dick and balls with their fucking little monkey hands and rip them fuckers off like paper.
Yes, that is a fascinating fact. If you own a monkey at one point,
you better fight the
fucking it's showdown time. Because fucking nature, and that's how monkeys are. At one point, you and the monkey got to get it on.
And I mean, like, Michael Jackson wasn't Schwarzenegger or like, Van Damme, but like, this wasn't like a fucking silverback. This wasn't like a Harambe type fucking gorilla. This was just like a little chimp.
But still a chimp, man.
But I mean, like, that chimp could kill a human easily. That's what they said.
Yeah. No,
so
remember,
you have no chance against a lion.
Remember the chip that ripped the chick's face off on Oprah?
Yeah, the bitch. Yeah, the bitch had a fucking like half a plastic face.
But I have heard if you win the fight, the monkey will fucking like. Remember Homer
becomes your best friend.
Yeah,
and you start making soap.
Yeah, like the monkey will do whatever you want for the rest. But if that monkey
you can't ever talk about Fight Club with your monkey.
But if the monkey I just got the joke.
That's what I said. You stay up with your new best friend making soap.
But if the monkey beats you, you got to get rid of that monkey because he won the dominance battle.
Which makes me want to know, did Michael Jackson get his ass beat by fucking Bubbles the chimp? Because yes, the chimp's name was Bubbles. I swear to God, people, if you don't remember this shit, Google it.
The chimp's name is Bubbles. He's still alive and well.
Yeah, well, they do live to be like, what, 30, 40, something like that?
He is 39, and he has been retired to Florida. And he enjoys painting and listening to the flute.
Ironically,
what year did he stop being with Michael Jackson?
Ironically, that motherfucker outlived Michael Jackson by a lot.
Right?
I'm searching it.
Well, not like age-wise. Michael Jackson died at like 52.
I'm just saying 13
chronologically,
years. I would have thought Bubbles would check out before Michael.
You beat him on the calendar, absolutely.
1988 was the year.
You're right. That's when Bad came out. There you go.
That's why I brought, because I remember I was 11 and I said, that is awesome and terrifying at the same time.
So that means in 87 or 88, Michael and Bubbles.
Bubbles fucked Michael up.
Oh, maybe his hair didn't catch fire in the Pepsi commercial. Oh. Maybe Bubbles fucked up Michael.
That's what it was. He whooped him. Bubbles beat the black off of Michael Jackson. That's what happened. I always thought it was Joe Jackson was the only black father to successfully beat the black off his kid. It was Bubbles the chimp.
Mystery solved, everybody.
Holy shit.
That's investigative journalism today.
So yeah, long story short, you ain't beating a fucking lion if you can't take a chimp. Okay, and like I said, I get it. Michael Jackson wasn't the most manly, masculine motherfucker. But I'll put Jason Statham in his fucking prime up against a chimp in its prime. And I'm thinking Jason Statham ain't going to be such a pretty boy at the end of that. You know what I'm saying? Because they like rip shit off and use their teeth. And they are not shy about where they use their teeth. Like they will bite your face and try to eat that motherfucker.
You know what human probably got a fair shot? Andre the Giant. And he's fucking dead.
Yeah, exactly.
What's Paul White doing?
Shit. It was like even like think about it, like a huge animal, just a huge animal
you think Shaq
that's docile. Well, speaking of huge animals that are somewhat docile these days, Shaq. But no, like even like just a friendly elephant, right? If that friendly elephant gets mildly annoyed at you and just goes, "Get the fuck away from me," with its fucking front leg, bro, you're gone. You're gone. Yeah. You're airborne. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And whatever bone that elephant hit is broken.
Whatever bones that you land on are probably broken too. So yeah, I always find it amazing. Guys are stupid. Guys always think that they can fuck so much higher above their fucking weight class, and that they can fight way higher above their weight class. And I'm like, you can't do either. Because I've known you your entire life and I've seen you do neither. So stop.
Yeah, by the way, at the time, I haven't seen this guy in a few years, but at the time, wildly morbidly obese, talking this shit.
I mean, I don't know, man. Does he fight? Did he grow up fighting?
No,
that
man.
Shit, okay, because muscle memory will take over. Believe me, I fucked myself up. Been like, I can't do that anymore.
At the time, he was just a big fat stoner who used to play football.
Sounds like half the guys I know.
It's like, bro, like running a mile would defeat you. You're gonna take out a lion.
Once again, he was going with the, I'm a big animal, and it's like, yeah, but you're not an elephant, bro.
But he wasn't even like, like he was big in like girth. Like he was like maybe 5'7", 5'8". Like you played. Like there was no football career beyond high school.
That's most people.
Beat a lion. It'd be, lion will lunge forward. The end.
I saw a meme that did say how to successfully fend off a bear attack, and it was 4 panels split down the middle. So it actually was 8 panels, and the first one was when the bear squares up with you, square up with the bear. And then it was like, shoot in behind it, put it in the full Nelson. And like, it basically, it showed you how to like jujitsu the bear. And then the last panel was, now wake the fuck up from whatever bullshit dream you're having, because this bear's already eating your ass. You're not beating a bear. And that was the end of the meme. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate that. I really do.
I thought it was like giving you instructions to like give it a stone cold stunner.
Like that's what I thought it was leading up to.
Kick the bear in the stomach,
like,
grab behind its head.
Now wake the fuck up because this bear's eating you. And I'm like, well, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
By the time if you square off on a full grown bear, it's already over with, dude. Like seriously, it's done. You're done. Like you ain't getting away fast enough. But anyways, all right. So what else do we have on the agenda? Do we have anything else in particular?
Yes, we have Zuckerberg and the FBI.
Yeah. Allegedly, the FBI, Joe Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg went on the Joe Rogan and said that the FBI came to him when the Hunter Biden laptop story came out and said, hey, man, keep this shit quiet. And he did. Now, I mean, people want to talk about, especially, we've heard it a lot in the last couple years, social media, First Amendment rights, and all this, and we've talked about it. Like, no, man, they're a company; they can do what they want. But now, however, this shit this is First Amendment rights. This is the government coming in and trying to control information. In this podcaster's opinion, I don't know. I think that's. Jess, did you read into this?
Yes, I did. And actually, just real quick, I made that point literally earlier today, talking about, we can say whatever we want to say about it being a private company, but the second that the FBI is interfering with who can get what information, like that is where the Constitution is very clear about First Amendment rights, and that's ridiculous. Wow, I blanked. I've been doing that like once a show.
And what's real fucked up is that's Trump's FBI. Joe Biden was not in charge then.
That doesn't. Yeah, I don't think that means anything, dude. I know that. I know that there are people, no matter where, in what organization, in what institution you're in, especially in government, that are going to have loyalties to other people. But the FBI is kind of its own entity, dude. I truly believe there's people that were there.
Well, I guess that's kind of what I was getting at is
before Trump, after Trump, and they will be here after Biden, most likely. Mm-hmm. So
it's kind of that was the rabbit hole I was going to go down. Is perhaps maybe the FBI is just kind of its own entity and just does its thing.
I'm starting to think like it's always been that, especially when you go back and look at Hoover and his fucking nonsense and bullshit and. I mean, the cooperation, behind-the-scenes cooperation between them and the CIA against its own fucking people in its own country. You know what I'm saying? That someone had to have gone rogue. I can't believe that was signed off on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I'd hope, but who knows? Not I, that's for sure.
The thing that I wanted to add to this is that, did you see that there was a top-level FBI agent, Timothy Thibault, I think I'm saying that right. And he's been questioned a lot. There's been a lot brought to light about his role with the Hunter Biden laptop and the covering it up. And then whenever it was this, within 48 hours, I think definitely within 72 hours of that breaking with Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan, he resigned and was escorted from the building of the FBI.
Okay, so that's I'm sure it's already been spun to however they're going to spin it. But I heard a report, and to be honest with you, I'm not 100% up on this story. I just want to see if you guys have heard a report as well, that the FBI actually denied that they ever did send anybody to Zuckerberg.
Oh, yeah.
So once again, that's what I'm going back to. Like, I don't see how they think that's better. That means that they can't control their own. You get your fucking house in order, FBI.
The first thought I had was after I read that was like, what incentive does Mark Zuckerberg have to lie? You're going to pay him off? He's got more money than the FBI last time I checked.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't make, it's not going to endear him or get forgiveness from the people that Facebook fucking just seems to just go after. And I mean, the people they go after are people who share memes. Like, the funny shit is that for all the accusations of Facebook was censoring like everybody across the board, to all the claims that Facebook was letting anything and everything go as long as it was right wing. And this was all, between 2016 and 2020, these accusations were thrown back and forth. The truth in my fucking experience is Facebook went after people who share fucking memes. That's who the fuck they went after. Not people who post political shit. Now, if you get into arguments on your post about political shit, you start calling motherfuckers cunts and cocksuckers and special gamer words and shit. Yeah, you're gonna get the hammer dropped on you. Duh. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't stand in front of the police department and wave your dick through an open window and not expect to get busted for indecent exposure. At least walk a couple blocks down the road. You know what I'm saying?
In San Francisco?
Shh. They'll just be like, well, we see the mayor's having a good day today. But
my mind starts going to like, so Earl would be proud. Just got a big old tinfoil hat. Did these companies really want to deplatform Donald Trump, or were they told to deplatform Donald Trump?
Told or pressured, and does it really make a difference? Depending on who's the pressure from?
You asked my follow-up question.
I mean, if I call up Facebook and say, "Hi, I'm blah 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 Facebook user. I've been a user since blah blah blah. If you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to stop using your platform." They're going to go, "Okay, well, thank you for calling, and we're sorry that you're having this problem."
Yeah,
but all operators are busy, so
yes.
We will go ahead and send you a form at the whatever fucking contact information we have that you'll never get. But if the FBI shows up and goes, it'd be a really bad idea to go ahead and let people post about this. That's the exact same thing as the mafia showing up at a new business owner going, "That's a nice plate glass window. Be a shame if you got thrown through it." How is it any different? What? I can't say it like I feel it because we'll get our door kicked in. But that's not law enforcement. That's not government. That's straight up mobsters, dude.
Oh yeah, it's mafia tactics. Hey, you know how you're not responsible for any crazy shit somebody posts on your platform? Be a real shame if all that went away, huh? Keep this story quiet. I mean, motherfuckers have killed people live on Facebook. What was that one thing in New Zealand was going for like 20 minutes? Where the dude was just mowing people down?
Oh, with the GoPro? And
yeah.
There was the guy who, there's been multiple Facebook suicides live streamed. Or suicides, not Facebook suicides, but suicides on Facebook. One of them, the one that really sticks out is the one that is just cold-blooded, dude. That guy, he had made up his mind before he ever turned that camera on. Like, he was talking to whoever, and they see him live streaming, and he's talking about, I'm done with this. I'm tired of being fucked over. I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of this shit. And people start calling him. And one of the people he was talking about called him, and I guess thought he was bluffing, and started cussing him out and, arguing with him. And he was just he took his phone and he goes, "Okay, oh, really?" And he hung up, and then he looked in the live stream. He goes, "Hey, this is for you." Bam! And I mean, dude, just pulls that shotgun from off screen, sits it underneath his chin, pulls the trigger. Not even a hesitation, dude. top of his head gone. Just sitting there, brains, everything sliding out. And the cops kick open the door like 30 seconds later. They were outside the door because someone had called. They just got there as he killed himself. And that's just one. And the only reason that sticks out in my mind like it does is because this happened, I want to say, during the early pandemic. So, like, we were all online because we were all at home, like a lot more. And that ended up getting posted on a lot of Facebook groups. They would do it, like, they would edit it into the middle of a video.
Oh, God.
So you're watching a video of, like, cats, dogs, or, you know, something like that. And then all of a sudden you just see the guy go, oh, for real? Okay. Bam! And then that's just it. Oh. So, Facebook, okay, for all their algorithm bullshit, I've never seen them fucking... I see that shit all the time. I see porn on Facebook all the time in private groups, like groups that you have to be a member to see what goes on in that group. Bots join. They somehow get through the process, and they just post fucking links to, like, that will take you to outside porn sites. And half this shit ain't even in English. And there's been a couple fucking ones I was like, that looks like an animal with a woman. And I'm not clicking on it to make sure, and they'll stay up for 5-6 hours in these groups. Where's the algorithm? But I just got flagged for something I posted in a group that's been deactivated for years. I just got a Facebook strike for something I posted on January 3rd, 2016.
Wow.
In a group that hasn't been active since before or right around the pandemic starting, and was deactivated. Facebook reactivated the group and violated me. And I'm sure they violated a bunch of other people who posted in that group. By the way, for shit that was not against their fucking terms of service when I posted it, but is now. They're ever fluid terms of service. This is why I'm against fucking, well, they're a corporation. They can do what they want. No, that's too much power. Because you can literally create history in real time and erase it in real time.
You don't have to have a Facebook account.
It doesn't matter once it gets to their archiving information and saying, oh, no, it's gone. It's deleted. It's never been deleted. They're fucking lying flat out. At some point, go through a terms of service, they have to have violated that terms of service. Either that or it's just buried in there in fucking legalese to the point where a lawyer would be like, I'd never sign that unless I had 20 fucking paralegals looking through it. There's no way I'd fucking look for that fucking phrase buried there. So, I mean, I'm just saying, this is what you have. This is the new normal, because as we talked about just earlier in this episode, manufacturing is giving way to tech. Tech is changing everything. Everything we perceive is completely fucking going to be different 10 years from now than it was. Even from 10 years ago, everything will be. 2012 seems like 40 fucking years ago in so many ways.
Yeah, it does.
But 1990 didn't seem like a million years ago in 2000. And 2000 didn't seem like a million years or 40 years ago in 2010. Like, it was, I could sit there and watch I Love the 90s in 2009 and recognize that world. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, the age difference between us and our co-host, there's just certain things that's just like, huh? And it goes both ways. That's why one of the things Jess and I don't talk about is music, because I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is. And I sound like an old person because I don't give a fuck either. I'm sorry, I just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true. It's the internet, so, you know, whatever. But there's a rumor going around that Billie Eilish gave an interview, and during this interview said, I basically invented punk rock. And I'm just like, please, God, let this dumb bitch have said that. Do you know? Say what?
I said no. I'm looking this up right now.
Like I said, I'm like, if she really said it, that is the gift from God right there. That is manna from heaven. Like, this bitch is even more delusional than I thought. She has a fucking Fender signature ukulele. And in the advertising...
Hold on. I haven't used this drop in a while. A ukulele?
A ukulele.
A signature ukulele.
And in the advertising literature for it, they describe her as the living legend. And I'm like... This was, by the way, a year and a half ago, so she was like barely 18 at that point, I think. I'm like, how the fuck are you? Bitch, you ain't Stevie Wonder. You didn't release more albums than most in 10 years before you were 20 than most artists release in their lifetime. You're not a legend. You're Billie Eilish. How is it?
In fact, she has an album out that came out a year ago that's currently tanking.
But anyways.
No, I'm not. I can't find anything about her claim to inventing any kind of punk rock.
Yeah, me neither. But I also spelled her name with 3 I's, so I should probably spell it right.
The thing that made me think it could have possibly been her for real is the way it was worded. But I'm sure the internet's gotten very good at figuring out how to fucking craft things to Russell Jimmy's for maximum effect. And this is one of those situations that it's like the Beatles trolling I see online. Like, you know, I would rather stick my dick in molten lava than listen to a Beatles album or something. And people post that and people lose their minds. So but the thing that gave it a little bit of authenticity was I basically invented punk rock. And I'm like, I could see her saying I basically invented punk rock. Oh, okay, Billy, calm down. Which, by the way, has anyone ever described her music as having anything close to a punk sound?
I've never heard a guitar in it.
No, I have, but only on live shit. And it was like Howard Stern acoustic. It was her brother. That's when I found out her brother writes and does everything.
Phineas?
Yeah, there's a whole fucking misogynistic world of all these wonderful women artists and musicians and shit. When you really look, it's like they didn't write shit. They didn't come up with shit. It was their boyfriends, their husbands, their producers. So, all right, internet fucking rumor, of course. I was hoping it was real, but
I mean, it could be. I could just have not found it yet. But I feel like that would pop up pretty quick. I feel like people would have a lot to say about that.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, though. That's like an old fucking trope. Well, no, not even a trope. It's more like a, what do you call it? Like urban legend. Because I remember hearing in the 90s, supposedly Green Day were walking around saying that they're real punk. And now that I've, the world's been exposed to Green Day for a quarter of a century, I'm like, I don't think they were walking around saying that seriously if they said it. They don't strike me as that band.
They did it in there early when they actually, but once they started using acoustic guitars, I think they stopped talking about we're punk rock.
No. I'm talking about like real punk. Like real punk. Like what's real punk? Like what would be real punk to Green Day in their early in their career? Because they're like West Coast punk, right?
Yeah, they're older than us. I mean, they're.
So I'm thinking West Coast punk scene. Like what? Like I think punk. I think London, I think New York in the 70s, I think in the 80s, the DC hardcore scene, and then in the 90s, I think of the late 80s, early 90s, like the skate punk scene, which would be the West Coast punk. And no one's ever considered that real, quote unquote, real punk. But it doesn't matter. My point is that was a rumor going around, much like, Rod Stewart having to have his stomach pumped for a gallon of semen because he let he blew 30 guys after a show, or Richard Gere with a gerbil up his ass or whatever the fuck. And then in the early 2000s, it was Avril Lavigne said in an interview that she invented punk. And I'm like, okay. I just wanted Billie Eilish to be that dumb is what it really was. Like, please, please, with your stupid ass, seasick green hair color, please have said that. But too good to be true, of course.
Better luck next time.
I mean, this is 91. This is out of its time for 91. I mean, think about Use Your Illusion's coming out when they're putting this out. Silent Lucidity is like a top 10 song when they're making this.
Yeah, but once again, West Coast punk. They live in their own world. This is pre-internet, so they didn't even have... They just lived in their own bubble because they were so far outside of what most people were listening to.
No, they were one of those bands that got big. Like they would just pack up a van and just go play every fucking dive around the country that would let them play, and that's how they got big.
Oh, I remember they're behind the music where their drummer Trey was talking about they played a show in some fucking bumblefuck wherever the fuck, and they were like, we didn't make enough for the hotel room, and the heat's not working in the van, and a couple who had came out to see them were like, you can come stay with us. And that morning, the drummer woke up and he was like, they had coffee, but they had no cream. But then I noticed that their dog was nursing their puppy, so I went over and got some puppy fucking titty milk and put it in my coffee. And he's like, that was what being on tour. And
rock and roll, baby.
That was what being on tour was like in the early 90s. And I'm like, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It sounds about some shit that I would hear. Make do with what you got. But,
no, and me and my singer went out to L.A., and the producer came out here, and he had us come out to L.A. because we had to finish. They didn't pay for it, but we had to pay for it. We stayed in like a Days Inn. Remember we were down to the last of our money. Like, we still had 3 days to go. We were in like, we bought like tortillas and like a can of beans, because I think between the two of us, we had like $20 left for 3 days, and we're staying in Hollywood. So, yeah, no, I get it. You do what you can to...
It's funny because... Like, were you in West Hollywood?
No, we were right up the street from Hollywood and Vine because we thought it was cool. But 1987 was a long fucking time ago. By the time we were there,
you're saying what? West Hollywood's the gay district. So it's like you're probably safe,
right? No,
I mean, you know, any gay district part of a city I've been in, I've never really had a problem with violence. Like I don't know if there's like what is it in New York? Who were the fucking the street vigilantes who would walk around with the red berets? You know what I'm talking about in the 80s to stop crime.
Oh, the something angels or some shit.
Guardian angels.
Yeah.
Like what is it? The Guardian fairies in gay neighborhoods. Like, you know, like, look, you are not coming here with that bullshit. You are coming here with some bullshit. You need to take that shit out.
We definitely know that a porno was shot in the hotel we stayed in at some point.
That is a fucking spider that just lowered itself down right between Chris and I in the studio. And now it's going on his fucking computer. So there you go.
Now it's on the floor.
I'm sitting there looking at Chris, and all of a sudden I just see... And I'm like, hey, Tobey Maguire, what's up?
And now it's an X-Spider.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
So, getting back to the Facebook FBI thing, what does it mean? I mean, does it move the needle at all for you guys about how you feel about anything with Facebook, anything with the FBI, anything with Hunter Biden?
It more just like confirms things I thought happened.
I mean, I kind of feel that's where I'm at too.
I just feel a little like as my resident conspiracy theorist, I feel very validated.
I mean, 10 years ago, I'd be like, I'm outraged. Now I'm like, yeah, no, that's kind of what I thought happens. And I guess just the older you get, the more cynical you get with some things, and that's one of them. Now, I mean, now, if you want to get your dander up and things, didn't we just have a whole rigmarole from like 2016 to 2018 talking about our election was manipulated, and we fucking put on a whole show trial and all this and that, and now we got some actual proof that our election may have been manipulated, and whatever. It's just a blip because he told crazy Joe Rogan about it. Quite honestly, the news cycle, it was a blip and it's already moved on. We're talking about something that's like 4 days old at this point.
That's a topic we could spend some time on this show, but we won't because, it's almost impossible to keep up with a weekly podcast with current events at this point. And God damn it, I've been doing this long enough. It wasn't like that when we started. It's just not get off my lawn. This is just me telling you the fucking facts. A story stayed in our consciousness longer than wake up, hear the story, eat, shit, shower, go to sleep, forget the story when you wake up the next day. That seems to be what the cycle we're on now.
Like, we were worried about another country interfering in our own election, and this is clearly our own country interfering in our own election. But no, we're cool. It's cool, everybody.
Well, kind of on to tie it'll tie back in. But have y'all heard over the past couple days where both Biden and then his press secretary have both called Republicans both semi-fascist and extremists?
Oh yeah, they're. Oh yeah, what was it yesterday? Here we are again. Shocking. 2 years later. It's the most important election of our lives. Once again, Biden's talking about we're battling for like the soul of democracy in these midterms.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
And the only way that we're going to fucking save democracy is if everybody who thinks they have a shot and the Republicans or Democrats would actually want to run, for them to just drop out, either that or collectively take a long walk off a short pier somewhere. That's about it. None of these assholes are going to fucking do anything, but sure, yeah. Go ahead, tell me the same shit you said fucking 2 years ago. Like I didn't hear it. Go ahead, Biden. Just fucking circus seals lined up clapping for it. That's most people.
And at this point,
well, it's
go ahead.
It's just wild to me that that they're being. Has that ever happened before? Can y'all educate me on a time where a president has talked about the opposing party and literally called them out to be fascist or domestic extremists or anything like that?
I mean, at this point, though, I view Biden as Ron Burgundy. He's just reading what's put in front of him. He's reading what some 30-something millennial speechwriter wrote for him.
This does.
Right, but what about the press secretary?
What about the what?
The press secretary? The I don't know her name.
Yeah, well, she's she's just saying what the constituents or what she thinks the constituents want to hear. That's the other, they're the party of extreme rhetoric, which I find is ironic because they'll tell you the same thing about the other side. I mean, they're the ones that use all these polarizing terms. They're really the party that's the whole you're either with us or against us.
Right, and they're the party who are completely violating the First Amendment by going to social media and being like, no, don't let this out.
They're the party who manipulated. I mean, oh my, has anyone, since this story has come out, has Donald Trump commented on this? I mean, this could be starting to peel the onion back and maybe mean he was right about the election.
Donald Trump has
I can't believe I just said that.
Commented.
But
yeah, he's commented. Hold on, I'll pull up his statement.
Real quick. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre? Does that ring a bell?
The black chick, the one who replaced the white chick?
Yeah, black chick, kind of like almost looks like she got a perm, like kind of neck length.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's her. So I have 3 photos, and there's the same black chick in 3 of the photos, and one of the photos has 2 black chicks in it. And I'm like, I'm gonna go with the one that's in the other 2 photos and say that's probably her.
It's good call. That's deductive reasoning.
I know. That's some Sherlock Holmes shit right there, baby.
Yeah, Trump got on Truth Social and demanded to be reinstated as the rightful president or hold a new election.
You had me and you lost me.
Yep.
But it's...
I'm trying to find this actual statement. Carry on. I'll let you know whenever I find it.
Well, the fact that the terms fascist and extremist, I believe, is what you said were used.
Yes.
I mean, if those are direct quotes, here's the thing: if you agree with them, that fires you up. I think most of America falls into this category I'm about to describe. It goes in one ear, out the other. It's just white noise at this point. And then if you're targeted with these terms, you're fired up.
I was just about to say, if you disagree with it, you're fired up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and once again, sorry, this is an old man get off my lawn moment. But I mean, your generation, the millennials have absolutely embraced all the worst aspects and cautionary aspects of all of almost Orwell's fucking dystopian work. And just the fact that they have redefined words that we have got to the point where words are redefined on the fly, that these words don't mean anything. Calling someone a fascist is like calling someone a commie. It doesn't mean anything anymore. No one who's going to take you seriously is going to let those words are going to mean nothing to them. Because in fact, if you come at me talking about these fascists or these commies, you're probably telling me more about yourself than you're telling me about who you're talking about. Because I'm going to be like, wow, you can't even fucking come up with something better than just the standard baseline insult. You know what I'm saying? Like, so fascism means I don't like it. I disagree with it. Toxic means I don't like it. Problematic used to be a polite way of saying, like, this is something that could get somebody locked up or, like, you know, so, along those lines. That was a polite way of saying, like you have some problematic dating habits, meaning you're kind of rapey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You enjoy the struggle snuggle too much. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like, oh, well, this is problematic because I'm colorblind and I can't see. Oh my God. It's not fucking problematic. It's flip the fucking colors on it in the settings, okay? We do not need PSAs and a government fucking grant to figure this out for you. It's not problematic. But these are the type of people who are now dictating to the government and corporate America what they have to do to get their fucking vote and get their dollar. And I think this is the end result. This is the type of language we're going to see. As inflammatory and divisive as it is, I think I do think it can also work against itself, and I think it has in a lot of ways with a lot of the second group I described, which is just like, oh my God, shut the fuck up with this shit. Come up with a new term. Something. Fascist doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
No, because if you actually look up the definition, again, I'm broke a record. I've made this point a million times the last couple of years. If you look at some of the iron-handed policies of the last 2 years through COVID, they didn't come from Republicans.
Well, see, this is the thing. The Democratic playbook is not, like, based on this bullshit. They are trying to adapt this bullshit into their fucking playbook so they can get the so-called progressives on their side. The problem they don't realize is that these type of people don't want their foot in the door. They want everything. They want to come in and take over. They want to eat your food, sleep in your bed, and fuck your wife. That's what these people want to do. And so they're playing with fucking fire, and they put this bullshit out there, and I'm telling you, this shit is going to piss off a lot of people who probably otherwise would have just been like, you know what, I'm happy for you to just sit there and talk shit and call me flyover and white trash and racist and all this shit, and I'm bitterly clinging to my guns and Bible and all that. But this is now I'm an extremist. I need to be targeted by the FBI because I believe in the fucking Bill of Rights. Fuck off.
Dude,
you know what I'm saying?
You know how I feel about straight ticket voting, and this is the first election I have actually considered it just because that's how it is now. Fine, I got to be all or nothing, then I'm voting in my best interest. And apparently being a Democrat and me being a middle-aged straight white male is not in my best interest.
Well, I mean, that's another aspect of this, which is, and I've said this now for years, and it's amazing because when I said it on Unregimented, our co-host at the time agreed with me. And a few years later, acted like he never agreed with me on this. But I said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party. Democratic Party told me I'm not welcome there anymore. I haven't changed any of my fucking beliefs that even today, 10 years ago, would label me as a fucking borderline progressive for 10 years ago and definitely a fucking cuck liberal. You know what I'm saying? A soy boy.
You sound like Bill Maher in the last couple of years and Adam Carolla in the last 10 years. Like, I haven't changed anything I've said. The shit around me has changed. Like, the goalposts have moved. I've been saying the same things I've been saying the whole time.
That's facts.
Yeah.
And if you try to argue with that, you're arguing against reality. And at that point, there's nothing more for us to talk about. But I mean, like, that's what happened. And that's what's happening with a lot of people. And if there's people like me all over the place, Republicans got to know it. And they got to be like, oh, we got a chance to fucking bolster our numbers through disenfranchised Democrats.
Did you see Bill Maher, the clip floating around the internet from his show this week, him talking with Rob Reiner and Amy Klobuchar, trying to bring up about, hey man, isn't this fucked up about what the media did with the Hunter Biden story? And they're basically both like, what do they do? And Bill Maher's like, this has been proven. And Rob Reiner's like, are we sure it has been? He's like, yes. He's like, well, I don't. He's like, because, and Bill Maher says, because you only watch MSNBC.
Like,
I expected the next line out of Bill Maher's mouth at one point to be like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Because Amy Klobuchar was like, well, my dad was a reporter, and I did. Both of them just dancing around. This has been proven. It has been proven at this point. It has been proven several times by many outlets on both sides of the political spectrum that the fucking media downplayed this shit.
It's because there are people who are looking for the truth, and there are people who want to be right and win. That's why I don't trust ultra-competitive people. I just don't. Like, you have to, if you introduce yourself to me and you come off as you come off or are proudly ultra compatible or competitive.
How you been friends with her so long then?
Because 30 fucking years. I had a higher tolerance for that bullshit when I was younger. Now I'm just like, okay, dude, I'm sorry. Like, nice truck. Sorry about your penis. Your dad's probably dead because we're both in our mid-40s. Sorry, you never got that hug you needed.
Like, there's the type of guy that would challenge me to a game of steak.
But no, like, I'm dead serious. Like, because those people, all morals, all ethics go out the window when it comes to I can win. That's not a leader. That's not a good person even. That's a character flaw. That is not something to prop up and fucking, that's a value to be like, that's a virtue. No, that's not. You want people who want the truth, who want to deal with the truth, who want to get things right. Not just win an argument and be right, get things right. There is a difference. And if you don't know the difference, you're the problem. You're who I'm talking about.
Well, you got to be an honest competitor, too. Case in point, I'll use myself as an example on the golf course. Like, I'd rarely shave a stroke. Like, because I just always say, like, how do I know if I'm getting better, right? If I'm lying. But, you know, I got plenty of guys that
I'm just surprised you keep scoring.
Right? I got plenty of guys. Well, how do you know if you get better? But I got plenty of guys that I golf with who are way better than me, and they know it. They'll fucking, like, lie about finding a ball and this and that and shit all the time. And that's like, and cool, you won, but did you win in a good way? I mean, you were going to beat me anyway. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's winning with honor, and then there's win at all costs. And I think you're talking about win at all costs.
I'm talking about the people that cheat at solitaire.
Yeah, win at all costs.
What are you? It's solitaire.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, your handicap is like fucking a dozen strokes lower than mine. You're gonna win. Why do you have to lie about finding a ball? Like, you can take the stroke. You're still gonna beat me. Like, I'm with you with that. Like, yeah, that ain't winning with honor. Like, that ain't trustworthy.
Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like I think they're hopeless fucking, you know, a bridge too far, they can never be helped. They're dregs of society type shit. It's just.
No, but it says something about their character.
You got to show me that, like, you've got that compartmentalized. Like, if you played, like, a guy I met through a buddy of mine, I ended up on a lot of acid, and I ended up over at his house.
It's crazy.
Me, the girl, and a few of my buddies end up over at this guy's house. And then he's like, well, I got to run to my parents' house. And we're all tripping together. And, like, no one's going to sleep. So he's like, you guys want to run with us? Okay. So we end up at his parents' house. And I end up talking to this kid's brother. This kid's brother's a professional athlete. And if you're a professional athlete and you're like, I played hockey. I played for Catholic Central. Then I went to Michigan. I was drafted. I played in, you know, the minors. And, you know, now I have a shot at, you know, at the NHL, blah, 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 blah. But then whatever, I was injured. I just didn't have, I couldn't get past that last hurdle to be an elite and, you know, make it to the NHL. But I could say I was damn good minor league. You know what I'm saying? Something that not a lot of people can fucking say. Like, if you can, if a pro athlete, because this guy had that attitude, he's like, because he played for, who's the LA soccer team, MLS? Whatever the fuck their soccer team is. No, that's Dallas. That's fucking hockey. Stars, Universe, something like that. Anyways, Galaxy, I think. Or is that a WNBA team? Doesn't matter. It's all the same, really. Right? Major League Soccer, WNBA.
Just as many people are watching both.
Yeah. But he was like, you know, that on the field is one thing. Off the field's another. He's like, and it gets very tiresome dealing with people like that all the time.
Yeah, it has to.
It's just like, and I'm just like, I believe you, man. So, I mean, like, there can be a situation where, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just, you're an asshole, you're like this. No, I get it. Especially if it was your job. I mean, if my job was, you have to go out and you have to literally impose your will upon another man physically to keep your job and to keep making the money you make, I might get a little competitive when I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense, but
I guess there's good competitive and bad competitive. I guess this is what we're getting at.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, because the bad competitive, it's never, we're in competition to see who can push who the farthest to be the better person, and in the end, we're both going to end up better than we were when we started out because we pushed each other. The Beatles / Beach Boys type thing.
Yeah,
the back and forth. Almost like a healthy type competition is that. An unhealthy type competition is like any Philadelphia team and the fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like, for any other sports team, not Philadelphia. That's just like, that's just horrible. I mean, they actively hate everybody. There's no, no. They booed Santa. They threw rocks at Santa.
Yeah.
They cheered when Michael Irvin's career ended on the field at the Vet in Philly. Like, they are ruthless. They don't give a fuck. They just don't care. And, yeah.
Didn't they throw bags of pee on the field? Or is that Boston? Was that Boston?
I think there was bottles of piss at one point. It might have been Cleveland when they lost the Browns or something like that. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah.
I found Trump's statement.
Okay, what Trump have to say? This should be good.
So now it comes out conclusively that the FBI buried the Hunter Biden laptop story before the election, knowing that if they didn't, this part's in quotes, Trump would have easily won the 2020 presidential election, end quote. This is a massive fraud and election interference at a level never seen before in our country. Remedy, declare the rightful winner, or, and this would be the minimal solution, declare the 2020 election irreparably compromised and have an election immediately.
He should have stopped, right? Like, the first half of that tweet, I can get on board with. The last half is lunacy. Or tweet or truth or whatever the fuck you're supposed to call it. Like, does he have no editor? Like, hey, listen, like, stop after the part where you start talking, before the part where you stop talking crazy.
Okay, so I'm not necessarily advocating for his quote unquote remedy, but why? I'm curious as to your thoughts as to why. If it literally has come out that the election was absolutely stolen, right? Then why would you just have to be like, but oh well, I guess you just get to keep it?
Well, then if you can prove it, I mean, obviously then the system steps in, right? Due process starts. But I mean, my next question is like, how... Here you go, Earl, here in spirit. How far did this go? Do you think this was the only thing that was done? No, I'm going to go with, I'll answer it for everybody. No.
What is it my buddy who's a cop says? By the time you finally get pulled over and get your first DUI, you've probably done it about 30 times on average before we catch you. Like, it's like they have it down to almost a science. Like, this is the average amount of times before people admit to, that's what they admit to, by the way, that they drive drunk before they got caught, which probably means the number's artificially inflated because of shame. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Or deflated, not inflated. You know, yeah. The inverse of inflated. Sorry, Jess, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. But to kind of counter you, Chris, who's going to step in? What due process? Because we have the FBI over here that's interfering. Who hasn't been interfering at this point?
That's another valid question. Who else did stuff?
Well, that leads us to this question is, all right, let's say they do go to move forward. All right. And 2024 comes, Trump runs, Trump loses. What are the odds he's going to survive seriously and be able to seriously make a run in another 4 years after 2024? He would have to be in his mid 80s, early 80s at that point.
If he's still on the same diet he was when he's president, not very good.
I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not like it's possible, but I mean, like, at a certain point, he's going to start losing the people who are like, fuck it, I'll vote for Trump. Because they're like, man, motherfucker's like 80 something and he ain't in the best health. And who the fuck is his running mate? I don't want that president. Who? I don't know.
Can you imagine when he gets old and senior? He says crazy shit now and he's got his wits about him. It's just going to be entertaining when he gets to older.
I kind of wonder if the GOP wants Trump just to be the lightning rod, because he's so good at being a mouthpiece for them to say, like, he's pure id for the GOP. He just goes out and says what the fuck so many people are fucking thinking. And they love that, but they don't want to get hit by any of the fucking lightning. So he's also the lightning rod. So, I mean, like, I think they'd be more than happy to be like, let him run with this shit. And if he fucking makes himself unelectable, we have DeSantis to fall back on. And by the way, that's just the one we know about. That's the obvious one. That's the one political insiders don't even need. Like, non-political insiders, people who don't follow politics, will be like, if Trump couldn't run in 2024, who do you think? Oh, that dude from Florida, DeSanta, whatever his fucking name is. I guarantee you hear that a lot.
But the big question that I would have out of all of this is if they, so let's say hypothetically that they did steal the election, right? That it is absolutely stolen and nothing's done about it. And we're like, all right, well, we'll try again in 2024. What will stop them from doing it again? Without knowing the specifics, there's no way I think anyone can answer that question. That's where we're dealing with the government. We're dealing with government law enforcement agencies, and we're dealing with politicians. You're not going to see clear through the top of the water to the bottom of the fucking lake. That water's muddy as fuck, and it's never clearing up. And that's where the problem runs in. That's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of think they're hoping the politicians' pardon happens. And I don't know if I heard this or I come up with it, but I said it a few years ago. And politicians' pardon is, we'll stop talking about it long enough for the public to forget about it. Gary Conduit syndrome. Thank you, 9/11.
Well, he had help.
Yeah,
in the form of 20 Saudi Arabian terrorists.
Still, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying. Like, just let the shit go. And unless it's a gaffe of epic proportions, which even these days, I don't think Trump could say anything that would get like him universally outcast from the Republican Party.
Yeah, I mean, he tried. Boy, did he try.
I mean, like, short of just social suicide, like getting up on live TV and dropping racial epithets or something, I don't see what he could fucking do.
5 words, buddy. And he survived them. Grab him by the pussy. He survived that. That's when I knew shit had changed.
And
when he survived that, I was fucking amazed.
Okay, Jess, I want to ask you this.
All right.
We've never had a woman on when we've talked about this. So, no input from us. When you, meaning Chris and I, when you heard that grab him by the pussy story, what were your thoughts on that situation?
I didn't have big feelings about it. I truly didn't. I remember, everyone was making a really big deal about it, and I was talking with a good friend of mine who is very like-minded to me. And I said that to her, and I was like, I mean, with a lot of women, is he not probably right? And she's like, yeah, probably. And that was it.
Oh, you're out of the tribe. You have to turn your vagina.
Oh my God, is this like involuntary trans?
Yes. You have to add a dick.
Shit.
You're out of the lady club.
No longer Jessica, now Jason.
Yeah. Got some bad news for your husband.
No, it's
good news is you don't have to buy tampons anymore. Bad news is hope you like dick.
Yeah.
No, I mean, truly though, it's a comment that he had made how many years beforehand, and I've been around enough men, I've been around enough mouthy men that locker room talk, it doesn't scandalize me.
Okay. The whole reason I didn't say anything or respond to anything you say, because I was like, I didn't even want to ask the question because I didn't want to plant the idea. But I wanted to get to the whole, did you take it as he, like, literally is like, oh, I just walk up and just grab random bitch's pussy on the fucking street and go, I'm Donald Trump. And she's just like, oh, grab it bigly.
Like she's a bowling ball. Here you go.
Or did you see it as what it, I mean, most likely in vast majority of situations probably is him blowing fucking smoke trying to impress some fucking half-ass fucking like third, fourth cousin to W. That's what everyone forgets in this situation.
It's just a dude around another dude peacocking.
Because I gotta wonder if that was Ryan Seacrest who was interviewing him, would the blowback on fucking Seacrest would have been the same as it was on the Bush kid?
Yeah, it's true, because Billy Bush had to disappear for like 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now
he's still doing an apology tour in certain circles.
Yeah. And I think he got his old job back, like at the Today Show. But he had to go flog himself. I'm sorry I laughed at that joke.
Yeah, I know. How dare you interview someone? How dare you interview someone who says something off the record that's kind of fucking edgy and asshole-ish. And yeah, by the way, your grandfather, even though he ran the CIA, when the CIA was smuggling drugs and stacking bodies like cordwood, that's no big deal. You talked to Trump once, and he said grab him by the pussy. That's a problem. That's problematic.
And if you look at
that's
the tape,
problematic, my brother in Christ. That's problematic.
And if you really look at the tape, Billy Bush got fired for laughing.
Exactly.
He laughed at that joke.
Which, by the way, anyone who's worked in customer service, retail, or food service, it's just you have a defensive work laugh because customers. That'll be 1987. That was a good year. Motherfucker, you don't think I hear that like 15 times? Working hard, hardly working. Yeah, wow, dude, I've never heard that before. Of course you got fake laughs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He interviews celebrities. Is there anything more useless as a fucking career?
Right?
High school guidance counselor, maybe. That's about it. Like, that is a useless fucking job. It does not take, literally, and it's like, you're not even interviewing them in like a hardball, I'm going to throw you some fucking tough questions way. It's fluff tabloid television is what it was. That's what people forget. That shit was like an Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah, it's like talk about
segment. Talk
about your current project, move on. Some fluff bullshit.
Well, they acted like he was like sharing the nuclear codes with Billy Bush along with his grab him by the pussy strategy, and it's like he wasn't even in politics at that point.
Yeah, that was something he was doing for The Apprentice.
Oh, God. Anyways, I hate, you know what? This is why I hate the modern Democratic Party. They make me defend Donald Trump.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And here's the thing. Don't think, if you're on the right listening to this podcast, that if this was coming from the right, like all the shit I bitch about coming from the left, if it was coming from the right, that I'd be cool with it, because I was this much of a pain in the ass to the religious extremists that I grew up with and surrounded by in the 80s and 90s. Nobody gets a fucking pass from me on that bullshit. And I'm sorry. If your beliefs and your rights, your beliefs and your faith or view of the world, you have to fucking impose or silence other people to have, then get a new one. And I'm not apologizing for fucking saying that. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care who you vote for, worship. These people are fucking scumbags. So don't think you can get it wrong. I'm just pissed that I got to defend fucking Trump because I'm like, he did say that was, dude, that's a douchebag thing to say. Every guy we know that would say that when you just met him is a douchebag.
I wouldn't hang out with that guy.
Yeah. Now, if it was a work thing and I had to deal with the guy, especially if you're in like sales or something and you have no choice.
Smile and nod.
Yep.
That's what Billy Bush did.
Sucked Satan's cock.
Yeah.
Gobble down that black worm jism, folks.
Now, trust me, getting some conversations with some customers and it turns to politics. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Half the time I'm like, dude, I agree with everything you're saying, but smile and nod. I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm here to talk about you writing me a check.
I know I go back to this well quite often, but I just once again would like to point out these people 10 years ago probably would have never been that comfortable bringing up their political fucking thoughts and machinations and feelings with you. But because we've had 10 years of shoving and shoehorning every fucking little goddamn fucking political cause is blown up into some sort of month or week that we have to have for it.
Quoting Bill Maher again, even a chicken sandwich is political.
Everybody just feels so comfortable talking fucking politics. And it's like, it is amazing what people look at you and they see on your person or about you and decide how they're going to approach you. If I'm wearing a Jimi Hendrix shirt, I get a bunch of fucking hippie type people coming up talking about, man, I love the shirt, man, blah, 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 this and this and this and this. And if I'm wearing a Misfits shirt, I get a bunch of dudes that look like walking hate crimes coming up going, hey, man, like that shirt, blah, blah, blah.
Speaking of the phrase walking hate crime, I was just about to say, just because I know like now I just look like a normal ass white dude with a shaved head, I'm walking hate crime. I just assume everyone assumes the worst of me now. Like, I'm a middle-aged white guy. Yeah, I'm everything. I hate immigrants and women and what else? And I love white people and
I just hate people for the most part. I'm really like George Carlin on homeboy that got canceled, not fucking he used to do interviews, Charlie Rose, I think it was. Was it Charlie Rose?
Yeah. Well, Charlie Rose liked to pull the nude move. That's why he got canceled.
Okay, yeah, it was him then. Yeah. But this is before we knew about Charlie Rose. When Carlin was on, he's like, I hate people. I like a person. I like an individual. I like when I meet an individual, when I can sit down and get to know a person. I can be humanized and they can to me, and they can be human or to them, and they can be humanized to me. I hate people. And people were like, I don't understand what he's saying.
I can get on board with it. I know exactly what he's talking about.
And I'm like, that's why I hate you. Because you're a group of people that he's talking about. You are the problem. It's like when people go, you know the guy in the family? And there's always one person. No. And it's like, because it's you, motherfucker. You're the guy you're this guy.
Well, yeah, what's the old trope, for you ever saying, hey, do you ever have that friend, blah, 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 and if you can't think of that friend, you're that friend? Yeah.
It's same thing with sitting down at the poker table. I don't gamble. I don't have the luck for it, but I've had friends and girlfriends who have, and they're like, when you sit down at the poker table, if you can't spot the sucker, get the fuck up and walk away because you are the sucker. And they're like, these were like, one of the girls I dated, like she actually entered tournaments and won like a couple $1,000 a few different times. And she's like, I thought I was good till I sat down at a table full of good people. Then I realized I don't know shit. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, a lot of good poker players will tell you the cards are irrelevant half the time.
That's what you playing there. She said this, you play your partner. Or not your partner, you play your opponent, you don't play your hand. And I'm like, bitch, seriously, that much thinking? Mm-hmm. There's got to be fucking involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not putting that much work in for the chance of getting some money. Money ain't that important.
No, but what she's getting at, it ain't a chance.
I know what I know.
You get good at you get good enough at reading people. There ain't no chance in it.
Well, it's just like sales, man.
Yeah.
There's hard and fast rules for sales, but then when you go into sales, you understand that every situation you have to walk into ready to call an audible at any moment. And you have to be on your fucking toes for it. Because they're not going to tell you they're calling an audible. They're not going to do that. And I mean, and if you walk into a situation, you can't read a room. Like I've walked in, when I was doing sales, I walked in and people were just motivated to buy. And within 30 seconds of talking to them, through body language, to the way they presented themselves, the openness they carried themselves, the openness towards me, like, come on in, let's talk. Mm-hmm. I'm like, motivated buyers. This is going to be an easy sale. And then I've met people who are like, what's your pitch? And it's just a wall goes up. And I'm like, I have to tear down that wall. And if you can't tell the difference between those two things, get the fuck out of the business that requires you to tell the difference between those two things.
Yeah.
You're not going to succeed in it. So, yeah.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Well, anyways, I wanted to end up on this because this is hilarious to me. Speaking of fucking old, get off our lawn moments. So the most irrelevant award show probably, which is saying quite a lot these days, just happened. The Video Music Awards.
Oh.
Yes. Something that...
Did you see Lizzo's dress?
I'm going to get to that. Something that they give awards out for something that MTV hasn't shown in going on 20 years now, except for like, I think in the mid 2000s, maybe to the late 2000s, you could still catch videos at like between 1 and 5 in the morning on MTV. Yes, Lizzo was there. And Lizzo, being just apparently the most put upon person since Nelson Mandela, decided to win an award, get on stage, and announce that she's oppressed. And I'm like, oh, wow, that sucks. You're oppressed. Well, tell me about it. What's up? How are you oppressed? And that was it. There was no explanation. I'm oppressed.
Because since she got on her private jet and flew home in all her oppression.
Now, what's funny is that 25 years ago, in 1997, when the Video Music Awards happened, Fiona Apple was an up-and-coming artist, and she got on there, and in like a minute and a half before they fucking played her off with the fucking walk-off music, which they don't do at the Video Music Awards, so you knew they were like, okay, get this crazy bitch off the fucking TV before she says something we can't bleep out. She got up there and she was like, everybody watching at home, this whole world, this is all bullshit. This is all fake. This is all contrived bullshit. Don't buy into it. And people were laughing and goofing on her. And I'm like, to me, she made her point pretty clear.
And guess who went away an album later? Guess who we don't hear from anymore?
But what my point is that she made a very clear and concise point. And the industry was like, because basically she was telling the industry, like, these are all fake motherfuckers. You know all them AV and fucking drama club douchebags that you beat up? This is them.
Yeah.
And they got power. What do you think they're doing? They're assholes. Like, she literally, go read interviews with her. Especially, she did an episode of a show called Iconoclast, where Quentin Tarantino and her, basically they spent like a couple days together, and like they filmed them and stuff, and basically just kind of like, you know, slice of life of them two hanging out, because they're friends, and of course she used to date a Hollywood director that he's friends with and all this good shit. But I mean, she talks openly about the bullshit she went through. So that was laughed at. That was considered a joke. Everyone, even though she, in my mind, clearly made her point that what you're looking at is all a facade. None of this is real. These people are not this way behind. When the cameras and you go away, they do not stay this way. They are something completely different. Lizzo gets up and goes, I'm oppressed. So brave. For what? What are you oppressed by, bitch?
You're rich.
Leggings?
For starters, you're rich.
Well, I mean, bitch, you're 300 pounds.
She's going to be oppressed by her circulatory system pretty soon.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to be oppressed by, like, you know, death. What death is going to come for you.
Did you see her dress? Did it have how could you not see her dress? Did it have its own area code?
Well, I saw a couple different pictures, and I couldn't tell if it were from the same night. I'm assuming she probably did a wardrobe change or two. So I think I know the dress you're talking about. Was it a green one?
No, I'm talking about the big black one. You obviously did not see the dress. Hold on, let me see if I can find a picture for you.
Someone described it as Lizzo went to a designer and they said, how much fabric would you like to use? And Lizzo said, yes.
Yeah.
This twat's stealing my shit. I've been saying fucking I got to go to Omar the tent maker to get my clothes made for 2 decades.
She did.
Now this bitch is out here fucking stealing my shit. Fuck you, cunt. Hope you stub your toe in the diabetes and lets it rot off.
This is not a photoshopped picture. This is a red carpet photo.
By the way, Jess and listeners, hopefully if you're following us on social media, you'll have seen this photo by the time you're listening to this, because we'll have posted it on the run-up to the show.
You can't miss this photo.
No.
That is real. That is not photoshopped.
Here's the thing that I want to see. Okay, it's not what I thought it was. All right. I thought maybe she was going for like the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones, and I'm literally not bringing it up because it was one of the things that was possibly on the subject. That literally, I thought it was like, if it was made out of feathers, I'd be like, she's going for a Game of Thrones like Night's Watch thing. No, that's just straight up.
This ain't from like the rebooting Willy Wonka and she's trying to be Violet Beauregard.
Okay, but Is anybody shocked?
I'm shocked someone let her leave the house like that. I know she's
telling her no now.
I know she's a big girl. That's fine, but like,
have you met a fat black woman in your life? You tried to tell them to do anything?
That's true.
Like, even if it's your job to tell them to do something, they gonna let you know that you ain't gonna tell them to do shit. You can ask them, and they might consider it. Because my daddy don't even tell me to do shit. They'll let you know that real quick. So I'm assuming Lizzo's kind of cut from that cloth. I'm gonna go ahead and say that because I've seen a couple interviews, and I'm like, I think she's kind of a fucking mouthy bitch.
She didn't grow up here, but at least she was born here.
Hey, I just didn't realize that she actually made some of the songs that she made. I'm like, that's her? That's not all that bad. I mean, it ain't great.
I like some of her songs.
I mean, I guess after being in prison for 30 years, fucking a 2 is great. But I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not enough. It wouldn't hold up 25, 30 years ago against everything that was coming out because it'd just be buried. It's basic shit. I mean, it's like, if a musician has shit in tune without auto-tune, we're like, oh, God, this is a fucking legend right here. It's like, he's got a fucking tuner. He's got a Korg tuner.
You don't like Juice? You don't think Juice is a good song?
Is that the first class? Is that one?
Maybe.
See, and that's the thing. Like, basically, if her whole catalog, I can sing like Peter Griffin. It sounds like bad 80s shit, dude. This is like B-side for a fucking 80s band. Listen to that. That is not a single.
That's kind of new wavy.
Take all that sassy fucking boss bitch shit out, and that is just a fucking 80s, just cheesy ass song, dude. I mean, and I get it. There's a whole genre of called synthwave. And
this is supposed to be soul music right now.
Well, no. It's synthwave. It reminds me a lot of like the quote unquote bad 80s and 90s R&B, like the Gregory Abbott Shake You Down R&B. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff my mom listened to. So like it's just it kind of lines up. It checks out. Like okay, it makes sense. But here's the thing. Once again. Why the fuck, Jess? I swear to God, I'm gonna start using you like this because I have to. What? Do you ever just look around at people in your age group and go, "What the fuck are you people happy about with this shit?" Like, oh, she's speaking her truth, bitch. You didn't even say what's oppressing you.
So again. It's the younger millennials. I don't know these people. They did not. I didn't go to high school with these people.
See, you feel. To me, you have the feel of a Gen Xer stuck in a millennial's fucking world with a millennial's knowledge of the world. It's just a matter of if you were 10 years older, you'd be sitting right here with us going, "Oh yeah, I remember all that shit. Fuck these fucking idiots." Yeah, blah blah blah. It just means like it wouldn't be any different. So it's just like. That to me, it's got to be cultural. And what's the biggest cultural difference between us in our 20s and people who are now in their mid 30s to early 40s in their 20s?
Internet.
My guess is also availability and
social media
and yeah, I was going to say smartphones, but social media, the ability to do shit on the go, basically.
Because the internet was around since we were teenagers, but yeah. But in our 20s, what showed up in our 20s? Social media. MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Here, we can... Jess, did you have a cell phone before a smartphone?
Yes, I did.
What kind of phone?
Nokia.
Okay, you had a Nokia, so you had a brick.
Yes.
Never had a blue... it's not Bluetooth. What is the BlackBerry?
I had a BlackBerry. That was my next one, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my first cell phone... was a brick, but it took me till 2002. I was one of the last holdouts to finally get a cell phone.
Non-work cell phone? I didn't get one until 2006. And that was with my ex-wife. And I didn't get a personal cell phone until we split up in 2009.
Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't get a smartphone until 2014. I was using a Dino phone. But I think that's a hint. You had cell phones before smartphones. The people you're talking about don't remember a time with that they were the cell phone owning age where they didn't have access to a smartphone, or they weren't available. They might not have had them, but they could have had them.
If you were born after 2000, your first cell phone probably was a smartphone.
If you're born in 95, your first cell phone is probably a smartphone.
No, because
12, 13 years ago, was it really?
No, dude, because
give kids a cell phone?
No, because you have to think 10-year-olds get smartphones now, dude.
Now,
dude,
I knew people who had 16-years and 12 years ago didn't have cell phones.
I'm saying my nephew's 18. He's has cell phones. He's 10.
Now, you'll give your kid fucking access to all the porn and violence in the world, but you won't let them ride their bike to the corner store. I get it, but that is Gen Z type shit. That is Zoomer type shit. You know what I'm saying? I can still recognize the fucking the outline of the shape of what's going on here with her being I had a phone. It's okay, so the line is growing up and thinking that the internet has just always been there. For us, it's like McDonald's. McDonald's has always been there for us. For our parents, they're McDonald's came out when we were 10, 15, whatever.
Jess, do you remember life before? Is the internet always existed for you?
No, the internet has not always existed for me. Sorry, to give a little bit more clarification to that. I remember before, at least before it was inside of every house, before I had the internet. Is that what you mean? Is that what you're asking?
I guess we can clearly say it wasn't for us. It wasn't our families couldn't afford it. It just wasn't a thing.
Right. No. Whenever, as soon as you could get a computer with the internet, my parents got it. But I do remember very vaguely before that.
All right, so there's another clue. Very vaguely remembers pre-internet.
Oh, I think I remember I'm just trying. I remember the AOL discs.
I guess the comparison for me and Rich would be cable existed, but not everybody had it. But cable, we didn't live in a pre-cable world. Cable existed when we came into a world where cable existed, but not everybody had it. Did you come into a world where the internet already existed?
I don't.
As far as on your fucking radar, not we all know it existed in some form before pretty much all of us were born because they were developing it. But you get what he's saying? Was it?
Yes, the internet came on my radar whenever AOL started sending out their discs.
So after Windows 98, around Windows 98 time, because Windows 95 is when they did the big push to put Internet Explorer to package it with Windows. Windows 98 was infamously going to solve all the problems of Windows 95 and help you get online and streamline it and make it easier, to the point where South Park actually killed Bill Gates in the movie because he lied about that.
I forgot about that.
So that tracks.
They started sending the CDs in 1993.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when everybody was getting the shit, to the point where we used them as our weed tins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was the late 90s when that shit really fucking started. And it really, the 2000s is early 2000s when it really ramped up.
Oh, you got one every week.
Oh, yeah, shit. You used to get, here's another fucking line of demarcation between our age and younger. Samples of shit in the mail that we never asked for. That we never, companies used to just send you samples of Tide in the fucking mail.
Damn.
In a little package. And it was literally like when you get a credit card from your bank and you peel it off, it's got the sticky shit on it. You just peel it off the fucking thing they'd send in the goddamn mail. And sometimes you get lucky and have 4 of them in there and be like, I ain't going to buy laundry detergent this week.
Or getting a cereal that you didn't normally get. Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And that shit,
that shit is over.
That is never happening again. You have to, because it just.
Well, no, because you just go to Costco now and pretend like you're shopping.
Well, no, I was going to say, I'm sure that you can do it legally still, but there's no longer no risk because somebody sued a corporation because I didn't want this, and now there's a legal precedent somewhere. I guarantee it's like that shit. So they're like,
yeah, remember
we tried to give you free shit, you fucked it up. Okay, now you get nothing. Fuck you. I'm sorry.
Remember when all the iPhone owners got a shitty U2 album they didn't want?
Yeah. Because you and Aaron fucking were going back and forth about that for like fucking an hour when we started fucking Unregimented. So it's like, God, it's 8 years ago now. Yeah, that's over 8 years.
I still say, let me opt out.
I didn't
Tell me it's available. Give me the decision.
How long before you could delete it?
I don't even remember.
Was it? But I mean, it was like months, right?
I remember my dander was like, I felt they were juking the stats for album sales that way.
Like Prince with his album sales with his tickets when he went on his reunion or his comeback tour. Prince has the #1 album in the country. It's like, yeah, because every fucking ticket he sells, he gives an album away and it counts towards his fucking sales. Yeah, duh. I mean, it's genius. It's a way to game the system. And if there's an artist who supposedly got ripped off in his younger fucking years who really was smart enough not to and to get back at the system, I would say it would probably be Prince.
You know how many painkillers he was able to buy with that money?
Fuck yeah. How many fucking elevator shoes he was able to fucking destroy his lower back with as he walked around his platform heels because he's 5'2".
Let's do all the Prince jokes. How many assless pants he could buy?
How many fucking flat-chested strippers did he pull out of a strip club, slap some bolt-ons on, write a couple songs, and create fucking Vanity 6 Part 2?
Yeah, for Black Guy, he did not like ass.
Carmen Electra's got some ass, and I think that's like the most ass I ever saw.
He's definitely bucking a lot of black male stereotypes.
So anyways, well, he wasn't oppressed because he's dead. But Lizzo's oppressed, and so there's that. But the other thing I found hilarious was I don't know why we keep coming back to this fucking band, but whatever. Probably because they're going to release a fuck ton of albums. But Chili Peppers got some fucking photo ops and shit, and it was like Video Vanguard, Legendary, they just all this bullshit.
I'm to the point
whatever the fuck they call it.
I need to hear those guys and not see them because every time I see them, I'm like, man, you guys, the 90s were fun, huh?
Well, I'm just like, once again, like what?
Anthony Kiedis looks like he's dead.
How the fuck are you, like, who? Why is MTV giving out fucking music video awards? Shouldn't, like, YouTube be giving out video music awards at this point?
Man, MTV ain't played video since the 90s.
Like, if MTV was smart, they're owned by Viacom, Viacom and...
Yeah.
So, I mean... There's corporate minds behind this, and it seems like the best thing to do would be to sell the rights, like almost franchise it out for the Video Music Awards, sponsored by MTV, and then have YouTube or partner with YouTube, something, whatever the fuck, and have them do it. Because who the fuck goes? First of all, who goes to MTV.com to watch videos? If you want to watch a video online, you even put it in a Google search. What's the first thing that pops up? It's a YouTube video 99.9% of the time.
Because I think MTV is probably still entertaining the fact that they're on the cutting edge for the youth. No, those days are over.
No, we talked about it earlier. The cutting edge is influencers, content creators
that don't want you to use Amazon Prime.
You know, that's, and I mean that's not the cutting edge. That's the basic bitch. I mean, that's what basic bitch young people that's who they listen to.
Well, dude, my nephew's talk me every morning. There's a YouTube show he watches. He fucking watches it every morning while he's fucking getting ready.
Oh, dude. I think it was 5-6 years ago. YouTube, either there was I don't want to say whistleblower because it's not really, it was just a corporate strategy. They wanted to replace cable and television. They wanted, with the invention, like with the proliferation of smart TVs, they wanted people to come home instead of turning on their favorite channel, turn on YouTube and watch their favorite fucking content creator. So that's what they wanted. They wanted to become like the new fucking cornerstone that you build your fucking home entertainment around. You know, kind of like a cable box.
Better show football.
Remember when YouTube and Yahoo and like they were trying all these different fucking things? I mean, YouTube had a Thursday Night Football.
Thursday Night Football this year is on Amazon.
That's what I'm saying. Like they were trying different things. They're still trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Which we went too long. That's a pretty accurate counter too, because you didn't start that like the half hour before we started. I don't want to, but it kind of goes into a subject that I think we can cover at another time. But it's just basically these streaming services competing with each other is watering down the quality of shows and stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. This and this, but that's one of the things that you just touched on, and I completely lost where I was going with it. So, anyways, it doesn't matter. Sorry, I was beating around bushes trying not to bring up a fucking subject, and I forgot what I was trying to go with it. Because the subject is streaming services putting out all this content of their own. They're doing it at a cut rate, and it's starting to show. And the cracks are actually starting to show because you're starting to see mainstream critics and reviewers call out stuff like the new Amazon Lord of the Rings project. Entertainment Weekly has been building this up, running stuff on their website, on their print magazine that they still have for whatever reason, covering anything and everything related to Tolkien and Lord of the Rings that they can. And then the first review of the first episode comes out, and they call it a catastrophe. They call one of the main characters a straight-up Mary Sue. They use that term. Now, to the uninitiated, this all sounds like, what's the big deal? It sounds like someone giving a critique of a show that they didn't really care for. It sounds like it was cheaply made, badly written, whatever. Where it's a problem is all these terms that they're using, especially things like Mary Sue, those were terms that as of 2015, when people started throwing that term around with the new Star Wars movie coming out, with Rey, the female character, being good at everything. The first time she tries it, she never has to train. She never loses a fight in 3 fucking movies. That is the definition of a Mary Sue. That is a character created perfect from creation that never has to go through any type of trials or tribulation. And they're perfect and wonderful and better than everybody else at everything they do the minute they do it.
Luke had a whole fucking movie about it. Luke had to move to a swamp and live with a fucking midget.
But that term itself, like Daisy Ridley, who played Rey in the fucking Disney Star Wars movies, Disney, Lucasfilm, Daisy Ridley, the different director, J.J. Abrams and Ryan Dipshit Johnson, they all come out and say, oh, that's sexist, that is hateful language, that is hate speech, that should be banned, you should not be able to say that. That is, all this shit. Now mainstream reviewers are using the same term. Nobody bats an eye. Why aren't they fucking racist? Why aren't they sexist? Why are they wanting to silence everything but white male voices?
They're in the club.
Exactly. But this is how much this house of cards is starting to fall down. And this is the culture war side of the podcast. And this type of shit is showing cracks in the armor to the point where the critics, who are literally shills at times for these corporations and whatever they put out, it's that drop. Shut up, get excited, consume product, and get excited for next product. You know what I'm saying? Don't think at all. That's what they want. That's what they do. They're starting to show cracks in the armor. And then, like I said, just the quality of the shows have gone down to where it's undeniable, and now you can't just write it off and go, oh, well, this person critiqued it, and this person's a white male, so it's because he's racist and sexist and homophobic, and he's just istophobe. And, so he's not valid, and we need to silence him, and blah, blah, blah. That's not working anymore. And, the art is starting to be judged on its own merit, and it's finding more and more it's lacking. And I'm talking in every fucking aspect of it. The new fucking Game of Thrones show that's on HBO, House of the Dragon, HBO, prestige television. It's what they've been known for since Oz and The Sopranos in the late 90s all the way through now. This is their show, and they spent buku bucks, supposedly somewhere between 10 and 20 million in an episode, and I think there's 10 episodes in a season. That's a big budget fucking Hollywood Marvel movie right there.
Yeah.
For fucking 10 hours. You know what I'm saying? And in the Game of Thrones, in the original show, one of the characters had to wear her family, the house that she was from, and the family she was from, they all have straight white hair, white or silver hair. They actually used human hair to make a wig for her. That was $10,000. This new show is a prequel based on that same family. Everybody in the family has that trait. Needless to say, they ain't spending $10,000 for like, 12 principal actors and then fucking 60, 70 extras in the background and shit. So they're putting these synthetic wigs on them. And the synthetic hair, when the wind blows, it doesn't, when there's any movement around it, it doesn't act like real hair. It looks like tinsel from a fucking Christmas tree.
It's like the powdered wigs in the Hall of Presidents.
It just looks fake as fuck, and it stands out like a sore thumb. I mean, it's like the last Marvel movie, the guy who Chris Evans, the guy who played Captain America. There was a close up, and on the 4K version, once it got released on home video, you could see where they didn't glue down his fucking fake hairpiece all the way. You could see the fucking lines in his head on a close up, and it's supposed to be this emotional scene with Captain America talking about all the the fate and this and blah, 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 and America, and I'm Captain America, and I'm saying a bunch of important shit, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just looking going, that is a fucking rug. And it's a bad one, too.
Well, don't you remember in the last season of Game of Thrones, the whole little controversy with the Starbucks cup?
Oh, there was more. That was just the biggest one. There was a few fuck-ups like that, yeah. And that's what, between streaming services trying to compete with each other, instead of doing what they should have done, which is banded together and basically dictated to everybody how they were going to run the market, they all decided to compete with each other. Now it's to the point where it costs you more to have all the streaming services than it does to have cable anymore. So what's the point of streaming services? Well, that's not only affecting people in that aspect, it's affecting the quality of the shows they're putting out. And, I mean, however you feel about the culture war, if you're one of these people who say it doesn't matter to me, I don't care, I think it's stupid shit, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. But the winning of hearts and minds, psyops are a big part of any fucking war, are a big part of any war, period. End of story. All you gotta do is pick up a history book and read it. I can't do that for you. You have to do it for yourself. But this type of shit, this is the type of backlash that people have been waiting for. Like when we talk about the fucking, the new Top Gun movie. Dude, I saw that movie. The movie's not that great. It's just a fucking action movie. That's all it is. But it's an action movie that doesn't say half its audience is evil and horrible and istophobic and all this bullshit. And it's just like, we're just here to entertain you, man. We're not here to fucking change the world. We're not here to fucking tell you that you're wrong about everything and you should feel guilty about everything. And that's just what people want, man. And the fucking thing's coming up on $1 billion. That movie has done more than the last fucking Thor movie, dude.
Yeah, no, that's going to be the biggest movie this year.
Like, it is blowing, like I said, people are getting sick of this shit. They really are. I mean, there's a certain point where your faith or your belief or your ideals, like I said, if you have to fucking impose and silence them on other people by force and silence other people by force so you can have your ideals, you can fuck off with that. And I knew that once we got to the point where people were literally, like, we literally have people in the government now going, I don't know what a woman is, and neither do you because you're not a doctor. And it's like, no, I know what the fuck a woman is, and you're pandering, and that's why you're playing this game, and we're done.
Vagina, ovaries, uterus.
We're done here. I'm not doing this anymore. And thank the fuck Christ.
2 X chromosomes.
Because growing up, I didn't give a fuck what religion you were. If you're talking to me about people coming back from the dead and talking snakes and people ascending and descending from heaven and to heaven, get the fuck out of my face. You're not dealing with reality and logic. You're dealing with the supernatural. Go deal with that. But don't try to put your supernatural bullshit into reality. And don't try to put your fucking bullshit new religion that you've created, progressives, into our fucking reality. And people are going, you know what? We're kind of sick of this shit. We're done. We're over this. You know what? Good. I've been saying it for months now. I've been saying it for a fucking year, for more months. Almost 2 years now. Stop giving money to people to hate you. You ain't got to protest. You ain't got to fucking do a boycott. You ain't got to turn into you ain't got to go all Norma Ray and get your fucking strike on. Just stop giving them fucking money. You ain't got to tell anybody you're doing it either. Just stop giving them money. Because enough people do it, and they'll start going, oh, wait a minute, we're not making money anymore. We better actually listen to what our customers want. Yeah, I know. What a fucking novel idea. So, yeah. So it's just interesting for me because I'm kind of I film, television, that's like a big area of interest for me and all the things that go along with it. And it's just interesting watching the cultural shift behind the scenes happen because, I mean, I think we can all agree wholeheartedly that we've been on the woke flake train for 7 years now. Easy. I mean, I would say 2015, and I still think I'm being generous by not fucking making it earlier than that. But I mean, everything. Driving around working, I hear ads for fucking banks. We have 58% black managers or people in management. And I'm like,
who cares?
What the fuck does that have to do? Yeah. First of all, you're a bank. Why are you advertising? Crack dealers don't advertise. We know we got to deal with you. You ain't got to rub it in our face. Have some decency, you pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming in here like Jesus flipping tables. Just be happy for that. Money changing cocksuckers. But anyways, like, and I'm just going, wait, okay, so how is that even, why is that a bragging point, a point of pride? What is it like? It's the most inflated number you've ever seen for as far as population percentage of black people in America. Like 17%?
I think maybe 25%.
25, maybe? Like that, and dude, we all know that's bullshit. Ain't no 25% of this fucking country black. It just ain't. Shit. I'd say there's a better chance 25% of this country is Latino than black.
It's true.
That's dead serious. And if you ain't ever been out to the southwest part of this country, you can shut the fuck up. That's all there is to it. Go out there and then come back. And if you still remember how to speak English, come tell me that I'm wrong.
Brother, you ain't been west of Mississippi in a while. It ain't just the Southwest.
I'm talking about Phoenix, Arizona. I literally felt like I was in another country because I didn't speak Spanish. And the Spanish I knew is a Puerto Rican dialect and a Puerto Rican, Cuban, South Florida, Central Florida dialect. So it's a kind of a Heinz 57.
I remember being up in this farming town called Hermiston, Oregon, and them telling me, yeah, the town's got 18,000 people that we know about. Because they were pretty much getting about like, yeah, well, the 18,000 people that fill out their census forms, you know, they're pretty much getting like, who do you think works at all the farms? This is a farming town.
Yeah, migrant workers. That's the polite term.
That was the term that was used.
Well, it's funny because a buddy of Earl's back in the day needed to go get his birth certificate. This was before, you know, the internet had rose to prominence like it has. So in the state of Michigan at this point, you had to get the fuck in a car and drive to wherever the fuck that person was born and go to that fucking city's register or whatever the fuck they have. So he ends up in Bad Axe, Michigan. Earl does, giving his buddy a ride to get his birth certificate.
Oh, he must fit right in.
And he gets there. Well, no, because he gets there and he's like, I'm thinking it's going to be a bunch of rednecks, right? You know, Bad Axe, Michigan. That sounds like a redneck fucking... Where do you live? Bad Axe, Michigan. I bet you just hate black people and burn crosses all day. Huh. That's just what you do in Bad Axe.
Sounds like the Bad Axe I know.
Apparently, in the mid-90s, he's like, dude, you're a Mexican farmer. Because that's all the fuck there is out here. He's like,
yeah, that part of Michigan, yeah. I mean,
he's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, he's like, there's... How are you white? And I'm just like, Earl's your boy, you tell me. But like, it was just, it was hilarious because he's like, dude, seriously. I mean, it's Earl. So he's exaggerating for like a lot for comedic effect. But he's like, there's just, it was literally just like nothing but Mexicans. And I'm like, dude, how are you from here? Who fucked your mother? And how did your pale ass come out? And I'm just like, there you go. Bad Axe, Michigan. Like you said, I would think it would be like, you know, sister city to Howell, Michigan, where the clan, where the Grand Wizard of the Clan retired to fucking 40 years ago. But thinking about it,
that's north of Port Huron. I mean, shit, you get fucking a half hour north of here, nothing but farms, man.
Migrant workers. Yeah.
Fuck, ain't a half hour, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Just because we got 90, just go up 94. You get off an exit and be like, oh shit, it would take me a minute to be found if my car broke down out here.
All right, well, we want to wrap this up?
Yep, let's put a bow on it, wrap it up. Find us on the social media, which is more active now. Thanks to Jess at Gen X Pod, or at GenExhaustedPod on Twitter. Same thing on Facebook where you can like us.
And real quick, we're not just asking you to, like, first of all, I never fucking speak up at this point in time in the podcast. We're not asking you to like or follow whatever us on social media just to do it. Like, we want to have engagement. So if you join, you got a comment, feel free. Tell us we suck. Tell us we're good. Tell us we're somewhere in between. Whatever. Tell us go fuck ourselves. Whatever.
Just don't tell us we're late for dinner.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's what it's there for. So, like, that maybe that's an element of the show that we need to look into is bringing the audience in, in some form or fashion,
like a live audience.
Not necessarily a live audience.
Put them over there in the corner with the cat.
No, we had Mikey B for that for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking like, audience suggestions for topics, et cetera, stuff like that. There is no money in this. This is all punk rock right here. This is just fucking doing it because we want to do it. And I mean, all three people listening, hey, if you have an idea for a topic, go ahead, send it in.
There's more than 3 people listening.
I'm sorry. All half a dozen people listening, send in an idea.
Yeah, that's more like it. And if you'd like there to be some money in this for us, you can go hit the PayPal button or click on the Amazon banner at ChristopherMedia.net, and that'll help us out. And you can also rate us and review us. Like Rich said, we want to hear from you. Are we good? We suck. You can do that where you review us, or wherever you listen to your podcast. If you have the ability to rate and review us, please do so. Please and thank you. I said please twice. You're now like obligated by the Geneva Convention or some shit like that because I said please. But anyways, thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Later, guys.
See ya.
for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.